were arrested yesterday. A 17-year-old from Bletchley, who was arrested on Wednesday, has been released on bail. The 16-year-old victim, a sixth-form pupil at Lord Grey School, suffered 2 stab wounds but has been discharged from Milton Keynes Hospital. Workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton. The monthly events are part of the Know Your Rights project, which is being backed by Bedfordshire Police. More from Chetan Pathak.
Last year, the Home Secretary Theresa May said stop and search was being misused so often it was damaging relations between the public and police. Part of the new measures makes it harder now for officers to stop someone without grounds for suspicion. The Know Your Rights workshops, of which there'll be 8 more across Luton, teach people about the new rules and how to complain if they feel unfairly treated.
The Royal College of Physicians says plans to shorten medical training should be put on hold because they'd compromise patient care and safety. A review concluded that doctors should be allowed to practice as soon as they leave medical school and become consultants in as little as 4 years. A person was led to safety by firefighters following a flat fire in Hemel Hempstead yesterday evening. Crews were called to Mercury Walk at around 6 p.m. Events are taking place in London today to mark 50 years since the state funeral of Sir Winston Churchill. More from Ellie Zanuvitska.
Half a century on, politicians are coming together today to pay tribute to Sir Winston Churchill. This morning, the Houses of Parliament will host a remembrance service and a wreath-laying ceremony. Later, there's going to be a recreation of the flotilla which carried Churchill's coffin along the Thames, with members of the family travelling on board the very vessel that was used 50 years ago. And finally, a special service will be held at Westminster Abbey, celebrating the man who's remembered as our greatest wartime leader.
In sport, Watford travel to Championship leaders Bournemouth tonight. The Hornets are just 4 points behind the South Coast side. And England's cricketers are playing India in Perth. The winners will face Australia in the Tri-Series final. India are 134 for 4 from 35 overs. The weather, bright and mainly dry this morning. Light wintry showers later. A maximum temperature 7 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I tried so not to give in. I've said to myself, this affair, it never will go so well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know damn well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice. Comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin, because I've got you under my skin. Sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice, comes in the night and repeats how it yells in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, ain't no chance to win. Why not use your mentality? Get up, wake up to reality. And each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. Because I've got you under my skin, and I like you under my skin.
Oh, don't do that.
What?
That.
Sorting it out. What's going on, Jane?
Oh, hello. I'm phoning up about an explosion
What?
that me and my husband have just witnessed.
Blimey, what happened? Where? In Bedford?
In Bedford, yes.
What do you mean an explosion? That sounds very dramatic.
Well, it was dramatic. It was about 4:30, 4:45 this morning.
Yeah.
And I was laying in bed because I couldn't sleep. And I saw these lights outside the window, which
Yes.
I first of all, I thought it was my husband's phone, because when, sometimes they flash up, don't they? These mobile phones.
They do, yeah. They can cause quite a start, can't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was outside the window, and it was very silent, and there was these white lights like fault lightning outside the bedroom window.
Oh, yeah.
But it's actually snowing. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
there was this massive explosion, and everything went white. Literally everything went white. outside.
So what? There was like a massive. What you say? It went white. There was a light.
There was an explosion of white light.
Flipping heck.
Yeah.
Whereabouts? Now listen.
and it
Don't
was
give us
very loud,
don't give us the exact street, Jane. But sort of roughly whereabouts in Bedford are you?
Near the cemetery,
Okay. And what kind of noise did it make?
like an explosion, a big. I can't explain it.
Flipping heck.
Big bang.
Big bang. Like a.
Yeah, it woke my husband up, and we just sat there startled. And
Have you had a look out of the window?
we have had to look out the window.
What can you see?
Well, funnily enough, in my garden I've got a couple of trees,
Yeah.
which have actually fallen down.
Yeah. Because of the explosion.
I'm not sure, I don't
Right,
know, but
okay.
they was all right last night when I went to bed.
Flipping heck.
How big are these trees? Are they little ones?
Sorry?
Are they big trees?
They're bamboo. Like bamboo and
okay.
can't remember the other name.
So
of
hollow.
them. But they're
Quite a flimsy
laying
tree.
over the garden, which is quite...
Right. This is, if only Justin Dealey hadn't been so selfish to take it to the beach.
I
Right,
know.
08459 455 555. If you heard this, what time was it, Jane, again?
It was about 4:30, 4:45 this morning.
Right.
I phoned up the electricity board
Yeah.
just before I called yourselves, and they're coming out to investigate it
Right.
later on today.
Have you got a substation or something at the end of your garden?
It's at the back. There's electrical wires, but I just don't know. It's unexplainable. It
Well-
was so loud. It was just like an explosion of whatever this explosion was.
Jane, once it's light, would you go out? Have you got a phone that can take pictures?
A camera phone.
Yes,
Will you take some pictures and send them to us, please?
yes,
Have you got a pen handy? I'll give you my email address.
yeah. Okay,
You've
then.
never given me this. Let me take this down
I'll
as
take
well.
some pictures of my poor trees as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, do. Go on, what's your email address?
Send us the pictures of your evidence. It's Catherine, K-A...
K-A-T-H.
T-H-E-R-I-N-E.
Sorry, K-A-T-H.
E-R-I-N-E.
R-I-N-E.
No, E-R-I-N-E.
Oh, E-R-I-N-E.
That's right. Dot Boyle, B-O-Y-L-E.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
No,
No.
because if someone else might have Ev. Dot Boyle, B-O-Y-L-E.
Right, is that dot Boyle?
Yeah.
B-O-Y-L-E.
Yeah, and then it's dead easy, at bbc.co.uk. I need an easier email address, don't I?
No, it's your name. It's fine.
bbc.co.uk.
.co.uk.
Jane, I really appreciate your call this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and let us know. Maybe we'll give you a call back in an hour or so to see if anything has happened.
Yes, okay then.
Nice one, Jane. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
There we go. Well, there's a start to the show.
I'm going to see the Ev.
Mike's has tweeted, first caller on the Ian Lee show. Hi, I'm phoning up about an explosion I've just witnessed in Bedford. This is how radio should be done, he says.
It's knocked a bamboo over. No laughing matter. Do you want to talk about some trains?
Yeah, I do.
Go on then, you start it and I'll finish it.
Thameslink trains should be back to full service this morning after last weekend's tunnel flooding, which was totally Thames Water's fault and not Govia or Railtrack's. Was it Andy yesterday
Yes,
who got very upset that we weren't blaming Thames Water enough, and we may have been putting the blame on Railtrack or Thameslink. So it's Thames Water's fault. However, something that might cheer you up if you're one of the many commuters who've been dissatisfied with what passes for a full service since the new operators took over is that a new compensation scheme for delayed passengers comes into force this weekend. Catherine Boyle has been studying this overnight. Thameslink has been a right nightmare this week. Bring us up to date.
I've been studying it all week.
Yeah.
There's been flooding in a tunnel on a line near Clerkenwell, which has affected services since Friday. That flooding was because of a burst pipe. All Thames Water's fault.
So sorry.
And they had to find out where the water was coming from before they could fix it. So yesterday, trains weren't running between St Pancras and Farringdon, meaning commuters from Bedford, Luton and St Albans were trying to get into the city, and they were having a nightmare. Separately, this weekend, passengers are being advised to allow up to an extra hour for journeys, in particular those trying to get to Luton or Gatwick Airport by train, because of planned engineering works. A full Thameslink service is expected to run today, though, and today only. So that's something of a good news bulletin for some people.
Sorry, can I just say on Twitter, we're only interested this morning in explosions that have happened in Bedford, not explosions that have happened
ever.
Ever.
Stop it.
Or in... It's just this explosion in Bedford. Not any that may have happened around your bedroom or in your clothes or anything like that. It's specifically... So,
they're very helpful, aren't they, the tweeters?
So, Scott, I'd like to thank you for that. But just this morning, I'm interested in explosions in Bedford. But thank you for the information.
Where's it happened? You can't say. Anyway, shall I interview myself?
I can't say. It's,
yeah, I thought it might be.
To do with an item of clothing. Now, passengers... This is serious now. Passengers who have experienced severe delays and cancellations. Some of them, they're going to want compo, aren't they? They're going to want a bit of compo.
Of course they are. And since Govia took over running the service, they've actually changed the way they calculated compensation. The previous operator, First Capital Connect, used to calculate a refund based on a yearly ticket divided by 520 journeys. OK?
Yep.
Govia decided, well, they wanted to make a bit more money and pay out less to consumers, so they calculated a refund by dividing a yearly ticket by 546 journeys. So that's about 43p less in compensation for each ticket on a single from, for example, Flitwick to London.
But they've changed their minds, which will benefit people?
Yep, hopefully. Govia are reverting back to the way that First Capital Connect calculated the compensation. This will be in effect from this Sunday. That's the 1st of February. Where has January gone? Stop it.
I'm just worried about Scott, hoping that he clears that all up.
We might have to send a team in. But it means... Stop it. Right, so that's from the 1st of February, this old compensation has been brought back in. Yep. It means people being significantly delayed this week in applying for compensation will still be paid at the lesser rate because it doesn't come in until Sunday. As a reminder to listeners, compensation can be claimed when you're delayed by more than 30 minutes outside planned engineering works.
That is absolutely great.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
If you're heading into Stansted Airport this morning, the wintry weather is causing some problems on the M11 northbound at Junction 8 for Bishop Stortford and on the entrance to Stansted Airport. It's partially blocked at Junction 8 because of a breakdown and on the second entry slip road to the airport because of an accident and some snow and ice in the road, and that's all causing 1 mile queues on the approach on the M11 northbound to Stansted Airport. In Hertford on Ware Road there are some temporary traffic lights at Raynham Street. That could cause some delays later on, and looking at the speed sensors in Clapham, it's all moving fine through the M6 Paula Radcliffe Way, but there are some temporary lights for roadworks in both directions at Clapham Road, so expect some delays there. On the trains, Thameslink have some delays between Bedford and Brighton because of an earlier signalling problem at Farringdon. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:16. It is Friday, the 30th of January. I'm Ian Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are expected to return to normal today, following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon, and workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Local opinions.
We think it's absolutely shocking that this young man should continue to have to be punished.
He hasn't even shown any remorse or said sorry.
Well, firstly, I have to disagree.
The JVS show.
Well, we're not living in very optimistic times.
But it does seem very clear, doesn't it?
They're human beings. Some are good people, some are bad.
The JVS show on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hang on a minute.
That backfired, didn't it?
That was an audio explosion.
Love is all around me, everywhere. Love has come to touch my soul with someone who really cares. No one can deny us. People who once passed me by will turn their heads round. I'm happy just to be with you and loving you the way I do. There's everything I need to know. Just resting in the afterglow of your smile. Yes, you have always been here, feeling deep inside. A feeling that I could not see or touch or try to hide. My love is in and around you. I bless the day that I found you. So listen, baby, I'm happy just to be with you and loving you the way I do. There's everything I need to know. Just resting in the afterglow of your smile. I don't feel good, baby. Love is like a voice in my head. Keeps turning on the things that we I'm happy just to be with you and loving you the way I do. There's everything I need to know. Just resting in the afterglow of your smile. So now I've told you. 'Cause I love you.
Come on. Final Friday, of course. Every song you hear today comes from a piece of black plastic. That's why it sounds dirty. Because it is. You should only be allowed to listen to the Small Faces on vinyl. Don't forget, at 7:30, we open the doors. You can come in and hang out. Don't have to bring anything, do anything. We had someone tweet me the other day, can I bring my dog? Yes, you can bring your dog.
Yes, you can.
You can bring your owl, you can bring your mum, you can bring your kids. You
Please
can
bring an owl.
You can bring your nan.
We did have a promise of a huge rabbit at one point, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, someone was going to bring one of those giant rabbits in.
That was... what was her name?
I don't know.
She's one of my favourite tweeters. Jade.
Jade, come in with your rabbit.
Jade, bring the rabbit.
The animal?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. That's
Great big one.
Yep, getting the animal, yeah?
Yeah, great big 'un.
Beautiful.
Oh, cute.
Right, I'm ready. Shall I crack on?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a text.
Who's that?
Oh, my mate Watko.
Hi, Watko.
Hi, Watko.
Shouldn't you be working, Watko?
He's not
It's a
listening.
different radio station.
Yeah, yeah, he's not listening. Right, I'll crack on, shall I? Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. 08459 455 555. If you've heard an explosion in Bedford, don't want to alarm you, but that was how the show started. Now, black and Asian people are disproportionately more likely to be stopped and searched by police. That's according to a report released a couple of years ago by the Equality and Human Rights Commission. The government brought in new guidelines for officers as a result and is now keen to make sure people know their rights if and when it happens to them. In Luton, youth workers are running workshops in partnership with the police, something our reporter Chetan Pathak was keen to check out.
When I challenged the situation, I was told, well, if I don't give that information, then he's going to take my fingerprints and I'll be arrested, and I still need to give the information anyway. You try to defend your rights, so-called rights that you have, but when it's about oppression, really, when the police know, it's a power thing, and when they're trying to use different sections or different parts of the law against you, you as an individual, you don't really have that much knowledge or power.
Was it the first time that you'd been stopped and searched?
No, I've been stopped many times, but that's probably one of the most notable.
But it's the way that it's been applied, what is the issue. When there's no justification in doing it, and the way that it's being used against our community, is the issue.
Well, you say our community, we know that black men are disproportionately stopped. Do you think that in your instances it was because of the colour of your skin?
Certainly, yes. There was no reason. From the officer can't give you a reason for stopping you.
What have you learnt today?
Well, for me, it's to learn and understand what rights you have. I heard somebody say that it's the way you respond, it's responding rather than reacting. So if you have knowledge of what your rights are and what the police are and are not meant to do, then you can react in a lot better way. And for me personally, I don't expect to get stopped and searched regularly anymore.
I think it's the whole thing, really, that the police, as Mike just said, that they need to be able to act within the law also. The scenario that I gave earlier, that was obviously not within the law, and I would have had the information, the knowledge, and I can quote the statutes or the particular act that they're breaching, and that's what's important for me.
So if it happened again, you'd be able to tell them now that they're not within their rights to do what they're doing?
Yeah, precisely. And I would be able to, like I said, quote which act, which statutes that they are breaching.
And from the way you blind
So Jane called in at the start of the show to tell us about a traumatic experience. 4:30 in the morning, she was lying in bed because she couldn't sleep. I normally lie in bed because I can sleep. And there was an explosion and everything went white.
And then she went outside and she realised it had blown her bamboo over.
Not the sturdiest of... I wouldn't even call... Is it a tree? I would call it a bush. A bamboo bush.
Yeah.
Not the sturdiest of... sorry. Plant life. But how many... We must have had loads of calls of people phoning in saying, yeah, they heard the explosion.
No.
Texts?
No.
Emails?
No.
Maybe the explosion's cut off their internet.
Oh, blimey.
Let's find out.
08459 455 555 near the cemetery in Bedford. Did you hear anything? Did you see anything? 81333. Start your text 3CR. Because if it was as big as Jane was claiming... what is it? Do you know what it is? You're pulling a face as if to say...
No, carry on with Jane's thing and then I've got a sad update from Jade.
Oh, blimey.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Jade, of course... Jade is the owner of the giant bunny and she can't bring the bunny in?
She's got one less.
Oh.
But she's got two more.
That's...
She can bring one in soon.
So she's pulling them out of hats.
You know what rabbits are like.
Be a very big hat for that. So her giant bunny has died?
Well, one, Charlie.
Oh,
Charlie's gone.
Sorry to hear that.
We've got to stop talking about people.
I know, you know what happened?
So weird.
There was a Taiwan story yesterday as well.
Was there?
Yeah. So let's stop mentioning countries or people's names.
OK, then that's going to be...
non-specific.
Here's Sammy
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a 1 mile queue on the M11 northbound heading towards Junction 8 for Stansted Airport. That's been partially blocked by snow and ice. Looking at the CCTV cameras, though, it looks like the M1 and the A1M have escaped the snow, but it's dark. So it just looks quite wet on the roads at the moment, so take extra care if you're driving there in the wet conditions. In Bishop Stortford on the A120 eastbound, because of the problems on the M11 northbound, it's very slow between Stansted Road and the M11 Junction 8 for Stansted Airport. Looking at the speed sensors on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's starting to build up between Junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40, and it's also looking very busy in Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road around the M25 Junction 21A roundabout. On the trains, Thameslink, a warning of possible delays between Bedford and Brighton because of signalling problems and flooding at Farringdon. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Simon Oxley. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are expected to return to normal this morning following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. Some delays may occur. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon. The 16-year-old victim has been discharged from hospital, and workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Watford travel to Championship leaders Bournemouth tonight. Slavisa Jokanovic's Hornets are just 4 points behind the South Coast side.
They are definitely team, for explain simple. They have right team mentality. We are in this way for catch what they have actually now. They know exactly what they must to do.
And there's full commentary on Watford at Bournemouth on tonight's Three Counties Sport from 7. Tomorrow, MK Dons go to Crewe in League One with the Dele Alli transfer saga still going on. Newcastle are favourites to sign him, but Aston Villa are reportedly making an 11th hour bid. Here's Dons manager Carl Robinson.
We're not getting too carried away with everything. We just keep playing our football because our goals at the beginning of the season obviously weren't to be as where we were today. So we thought we'd be in the mix, but we didn't expect to be sort of 15 points clear of the team in 7th. So we're in a great position for forthcoming games and we're looking forward to them.
In League 2, leaders Wickham host Portsmouth, Luton host Cambridge, and Stevenage are at home to Oxford with manager Graham Westley focusing on the state of the pitch.
The pitch has been difficult. That's there for all to see, and you know, anyone who knows our pitch over the years knows that once that water gets in, it's very difficult to see it drain and see it improve. So it's bound to be difficult, I think, for the remainder of the season. And you know, the beauty of that is that we know that surface. We know how to play it. We know how it works. We know the areas of the pitch to play.
England's cricketers are playing India in Perth. The winners will face Australia in the Tri-Series final. A short while ago, India were 162 for 6 from 42 overs. And at the Australian Open tennis, number 1 seed Novak Djokovic faces defending champion Stan Wawrinka later for the right to meet Andy Murray in Sunday's final. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
What is going on? Yes, Jamie.
Morning.
Morning, Jamie. What you got?
Just want to know, mate, how much longer the open door policy is going on for?
Sorry?
How much longer is the open door policy going on for on a Friday?
It could be going on. Well, we're going to do it until the end of March.
Okay.
And then we're going to see whether it's been a success or a failure or what. Why? You're not from the tax office, are you?
No. I want to come down, but obviously I've got to go and have a little bit of a training session with Annie today, doing a bit of first aid.
With what? With who?
Annie.
Oh, not Rissussy Annie with that creepy face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Got to give her a couple of kisses.
Ew.
Imagine how many boys she's snogged and girls. She don't mind.
I've had her.
Leave. Oh, easy.
Steady, fella. So, so you want to come down, but you can't come down today?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is.
Oh. Next week?
Hopefully.
All right.
Don't sound desperate, mate.
He
could be too available.
He doesn't sound that bothered, does he?
Well, exactly. That's why you've got to play it cool.
He doesn't. You don't sound that bothered.
I am bothered.
Okay.
He's playing it cool.
Well, maybe we'll see you next week.
You certainly will.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Ta-ta. 08459 455 555. You can just turn up if you want and come down between 7:30 and 8.
Yeah.
That'll do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we'll try this now, shall we?
Hear you say life's taking you nowhere. Angel, come up, baby. Look at that sky, life's begun. Nights are warm and the days are young. Come up, baby. There's my baby lost, that's all. Once I'm begging you save a little soul. Come up, baby. Last night they loved you, opening doors and pulling some strings. Angel, come up, baby. Then walk luck and you looked in time. Never look back, walk tall, act fine. Come up, baby. I'll stick with you, baby, for 1,000 years. Nothing's gonna touch you in these golden years. Some of these days and it won't be long. Gonna drive back down where you once belonged. In the back of a dream car 20 foot long. Don't cry my sweet, don't break my heart. Doing alright, you gotta get smart. Wish upon day, I believe, oh Lord, I'll believe all the way. Run for the shadows, run for the shadows, run for the shadows in these golden years. There's my baby lost, that's all. Once I'm begging you save a little soul. Years, golden, don't let me hear you say life's taking you nowhere. Angel, come up, baby. Run for the shadows, run for the shadows, run for the shadows in these golden years. I'll stick with you, baby, for 1,000 years. Nothing's gonna touch you in these golden years.
So, we've now got... Anne-Marie is now upset on Twitter. She's going, I wanted to come in next Friday because it's my birthday. You still can.
More the merrier.
Yeah, exactly. She's saying too many cooks, and you're right. The opposite of that is more the merrier.
Merrier.
So come in. Everyone is invited in between 7:30 and 8 o'clock on a Friday morning. The doors are open, and I keep forgetting to mention it in the week, so we may have nobody coming in. Actually, I had a sneaky email from Jill who said she might pop in. So
Well, I mean, might isn't definite, is it?
it's not a definite booking, so if you want to come down, come down. Hey, there's not a lot in the newspapers today. All the newspapers, apart from that gunman, you seen the Dutch gunman?
That was crazy.
The Dutch gunman who just burst into a TV studio.
You say gunman, it was a plastic one, wasn't it?
I don't know, was it a plastic one?
It said on the news.
He had a gun. He's a gunman, and he is a gunman. And Steve.
Hello.
He is a gunman, whether it's plastic or not, because you don't know it's plastic until after the event. So to those people, you wouldn't say, "Oh yes, the studio was stormed today by a plastic gunman."
No.
You'd say gunman.
Yeah, you would.
And then after questioning, you might go, well, it turned out it was plastic, but we didn't know at the time. I just realised, of course, that on the day that we're talking about a plastic gunman, we're inviting people to come into our studio.
Please don't bring that.
Please, it's just a bit of fun. I have no strong feelings about anything political or religious or anything,
And
please.
also, do you know what? We're not important.
No. The One Show has a big window behind it.
Shh, don't.
No. Steve, what have you got for us?
The A6 going past Sharnbrook is completely at a standstill.
Oh, blimey.
Nothing going forward, back or anyway.
Oh, God.
And on that story, did you hear what the security bloke did?
No, mate. What, with the A6?
No.
Oh.
The gunman thing.
Yeah.
The security bloke led him into an empty studio.
Ah. Aha. And did you see that? Boy, oh boy, did you see how quickly he dropped his gun when the coppers turned up?
No, I didn't.
Oh, watch, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Is it?
Steve, thank you for that road update.
Yep, I think that was it.
So, Andy Murray's girlfriend...
Kim?
I don't know.
Is she called Kim?
She's hot.
Well...
She's got a ring that costs £250,000. Well, that's what it's insured for. Hey, Andy? Hey? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. She's also got a potty mouth. You seen this?
Things got tense, didn't they?
Flipping have it, you check flip. Take that, you flash flip. You little flip. I'm saying that the flip, it could be, of course, she could have said chocolate. The C word. We don't know what the words were. And this is interesting, because this comes midway between... You know that in somewhere up north, they're having quiet rugby games?
Yeah.
Where parents aren't allowed to shout encouragement or indeed abuse... the kids or the referees.
Takes all the fun out of it, doesn't it?
Well, it does take all the fun out of it.
So it's rugby. I can imagine football a bit more sensitive, but rugby, flipping out, supposed to be hard, aren't you?
Instead of just going through the records, maybe you want to look at the papers because we're doing the paper review.
I will. I'm helping you with the paper review while doing this at the same time.
Okay.
I found this, but I can't find a triangle.
Give me that. I'll find a triangle. Which one do you want? Okay.
Soul Sister Brown Sugar.
Okay, I'll find a triangle. But she's got... But I think you should be... Listen, I think you should be encouraged to F and Jeff...
Well, not in front of kids, though.
Well, I mean, they've got to learn... Well, they've got to learn.
Let them discover it for themselves, that magic moment when they're about 12 and they realise the power of a word.
Maybe not in front of the kids, but still, you know, they should... you can't have quiet games.
No, exactly.
What have you got in the papers while I look for a triangle?
Nick Clegg has come out in support of...
He's what?
Come out in support of Katie Price.
Oh, God.
Her right to free school transport for her disabled son, defended by Nick Clegg yesterday. Millionaire Katie has been criticised after revealing the high cost of getting Harvey, 12, to school was covered by a local council. He goes miles, doesn't he, to this school in London. He's from Sussex.
Yeah.
However, the Deputy PM said that all children with disabilities should be treated with the same kind of compassion and support.
Well, you know, I mean...
It'd be nice if she offered. She's not bound to, though, is she?
No.
It's another case of don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well, hang on a second. Yeah, I suppose so. I'm bored of that Katie Price story.
Are you?
Well, when we did it a couple of days ago, people were getting very angry.
I'm sorry, I feel like I've given you cause for disappointment.
Go on, have another go.
All right, here's another person you're bored of.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber.
Oh, he's apologised.
Yeah.
I don't blame you, Justin. Is the hashtag or
He's
something?
made an emotional public apology for his bad behaviour, saying, "Being young and growing up in this business is so hard."
Yeah.
The singer, 20, says in a Facebook video, "I'm not who I was pretending to be. Often we pretend to be something we're not as a cover-up of what we're truly feeling inside."
That's true, actually. That's why it's like Buddha, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Confucius, he say.
There was a lot of feelings going on in there, according to Bieber. Last year, the Canadian was arrested for drag racing, accused of causing £12,000 worth of damage and starting a fight with Orlando Bloom. Oh, really?
In that case, I'm on his side again.
The video, viewed 1.2 million times, so a million times and a bit, came after US chat show left him feeling awkward. He
Almost as many views as mine and Justin Dealey's video.
But did you get your pecs out? No, you didn't.
No,
Maybe
mate.
then you should think about that next time.
No.
He said, I felt people were judging me.
Yep.
Fans replied with, hashtag, we don't judge you, Justin.
We don't judge you,
and
Justin.
Hashtag, dear Justin.
Oh, Justin Bieber.
He's just a kid.
He's just a boy. With a boy's courage. Speaking of boys, I don't like this story.
He's an annoying boy, but he's a boy.
I'm going to court for anti-social behaviour, boasts boy 12. A boy of 12 who terrorised a neighbourhood with his appalling behaviour bragged he was being hauled to court for anti-social behaviour. All of those words spelt terribly badly. Justin Carley destroyed the lives of residents by abusing and threatening them in the street, hurling dog dirt, kicking his football against parked cars and throwing stones at windows. He even cycled through a library. Oh, I quite like that one. I do quite like that one.
That is cheeky.
And threatened to smash all of its windows. Don't like that bit. The tearaway has been given a final warning and handed a 2-year ASBO. But even then, he tried to put two fingers up authority by taking to social media. He boasted to friends of his impending court case on Facebook, saying, in court Wednesday for ASBO, for FFS, antisocial behaviour.
Hey, he's only 12. He shouldn't be on Facebook.
Well,
Lawbreaker.
Well, here's the thing, right? So I know his name, I know where he lives, and, I know what he looks like because there is a picture of him. He's 12 years old. Now, right, he's a right little scrote, obviously, and he's a terror, but he's 12 years old. Why? You can't publicly shame a child like
There's no
that.
mention of who his parents are, I take it.
Last month, his mother, who is single... What's that got to do with it? Wrote on Facebook, peed off with my son's school. Every day there's an effing problem with him. If they can't cope with him, tell me and I'll find a school that can. So how do we... It doesn't name the mum. This story is completely... this is... Am I the only person that thinks this is out of order, that I know his name and I know what he looks like? You can't put... Yeah, all right, he's horrible and he's terrorising the neighbourhood. Hey, guess what? I imagine there's something going on with his life. He needs to be taken out and not taken out as in shot, that would be terrible. But this needs to be investigated. You can't name and shame and put a picture of him in the paper. He's a boy. He's a kid.
Well, he's clearly a misguided kid as well, doing all this sort of stuff. Why do we add to it?
The picture is of him. You know, he's a child with a gold chain around his neck, flicking he's got the fingers up. And he's got a big smile on his face. But he's 12 years old. There's got to be a better way of dealing with it than putting him in the papers. I think that's horrible. I think that's really nasty. And also, I think riding a bicycle through a library is pretty cool. Don't you? I mean, all the other stuff is horrible.
There's an air of swagger about it.
There's something. He's got
that I have a begrudging respect for, yes.
Got anything else before we go to the Trav? We'll go to the Trav.
Oh.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The wintry weather overnight is causing delays on the M11 northbound, with 1 mile queue heading towards Junction 8 for Stansted Airport. It's down to 1 lane there because of the snow and the ice and a number of breakdowns and accidents that have happened there so far this morning. On the M25 anti-clockwise, looking at the speed sensors, it's starting to get very busy between Junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. And looking at some roadworks in High Wycombe on the A404 Marlow Hill, there are the temporary traffic lights at Marlow Road. That's not causing any delays at the moment. On the trains, Thameslink are saying that although there was problems earlier with flooding in the week and signalling problems at Farringdon, those have now been fixed, but there are still some possible delays expected until around 8 o'clock this morning. Samantha Breff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. 6:45, it's Friday the 30th of January. I'm Ian Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Oh, blimey, it's my sister's birthday on the 1st.
You knew that.
Ah?
You knew that, though.
No, but I've just remembered that it's nearly the 1st.
You knew.
And I knew that. And the present is going to be awesome, but I'll wait till I see her next before I give it to her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kath. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are expected to return to normal today following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon. And workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton. 08459 455 555 if you want to give us a call. And if anybody can shed any more light on this explosion that supposedly happened in Bedford. Before that, though, let's get the weather. Here's Alina.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ian, good morning. It's another cold day. We've had a few showers overnight, which has given in places some slight accumulations of snow, a couple of centimetres here and there. 1 or 2 showers just still around at the moment, but they tend to be pulling away south and eastwards. We still have a yellow warning from the Met Office, and that's for ice this morning, where we've had the showers, temperatures down close to freezing. We could see some icy stretches on untreated roads and pavements, so just take care if you're off in the car shortly, or just walking along the pavement as well. Through the rest of the day, well, some spells of sunshine coming through, 1 or 2 showers which could still have a wintry element to them, but accumulations, if you do see some snow, will be very small. It will certainly feel cold again, even though temperatures are actually going to be up on yesterday's values. Today we'll see a high of 4 or 5 Celsius, but add on the wind, a strong northwesterly wind, and it will feel closer to freezing. Cold tonight, clear spells, but also further showers feeding their way across, especially later in the night. Could well have some sleet or snow in those, giving some slight accumulations, and further wintry showers for a time tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning, temperatures will be close to freezing. Could see some ice on untreated surfaces. And then once the showers clear through tomorrow morning, some spells of sunshine, but feeling bitterly cold and strong northerly winds, which we keep through the weekend. So although on Sunday it will be mainly dry, though we can't rule out 1 or 2 wintry showers, it's always going to feel bitterly cold in that strong north wind.
To me all night long. Your sister, your brown sugar. Girl, you always been with your man. It's about time he took your hand. I wanna show you 'cause I can't stand the blow. Keep on giving it to me. Somebody said what's in the dark will surely come to the light. Now your day and your mind is light up, and the whole world knows you out of sight. What wrong? Love and affection to the bone, to the bone. Soul sister, your brown sugar. Keep on sucking it to me all night long. Soul sister, your brown sugar.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Catherine Boyle as well. Catherine, is it the papers really are a little bit lame today? There's not a lot in there.
No. It's really... Can't find anything.
You're upset that we're calling Mayor of London Boris Johnson Bojo these days.
Is that a new thing? I mean, I'm not aware of this tendency. The Sun's calling him Bojo on the...
He's just a crazy, lovable kind of guy.
Let's not give him a diminutive.
He's a crazy, lovable kind of guy, and we all love Bojo. Boris. It's the Mayor of London to you, you slackers.
Yes.
Where's the mirror? Have you got the mirror?
I've got the mirror here, yeah.
Okay,
there's this thing about the Diplodocus.
Oh, yeah.
We reckon it's a salad cream job.
It's another whisper.
So they're moving it. They can put a whale in its place. They said that it's an authentic whale rather than a plastic dinosaur.
Hey, they could combine a dinosaur with a whale. Mm-hmm. James Whale. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Give them...
Can I do the saddest story in the world? I told you this story earlier. This is the saddest...
I know, and I had a strange reaction to it, so...
This is the saddest story in the world. Although Newshound, Simon Oxley went, oh, really? He was questioning it. This is the saddest story in the world, OK? a newly engaged holidaymaker plunged to her death after losing her footing in her excitement at her boyfriend's cliff-top proposal. And I can see you tearing up with this, Kath. This is awful, isn't it? Thrilled Dimitrina Dimitrova, 29, lost her balance as she jumped up and down in delight after her partner asked her to marry him at the beauty spot on Ibiza. She fell 65 foot from the cliffs at the So he proposes to her at the edge of the cliffs. She jumps up and down with delight and falls and dies. I think that is the most tragic. Simon Oxley went, "Oh, really? Has he been questioned?" You totally, and well done. The news hound is strong in this one. Totally questioning this fella, but oh gosh,
that sounds like something from a really bad.
Oh dear.
Comedy. I mean, that's a way to go, isn't it? How did it happen? I mean, that's awful. That's awful.
That's awful, isn't it?
That's really awful.
I mean, it is. It's literally. It's just the saddest thing.
Gosh, can you imagine her jumping up and down? Whoop.
Hey, whoa, no. You got anything?
No.
Hey, here we go. All right, last one. Let's say last one. We might do some more. Page 41 of the Daily Mail.
Good.
We've touched on this show. We've had people talking about this, leaving trinkets at cemeteries.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Trinkets. Mum told, take the trinkets from her baby's pink grave. A grieving mum who added pink decorations to the grave of her stillborn child has been ordered to remove them. Jade Beadle, 24, put coloured gravel and a small fence around the resting place of her daughter Tanya, who she lost 39 weeks into her pregnancy. But cemetery officials have told her she must get rid of the bright adornments. They said in a letter, the land is supposed to be retained as a rural site and the proliferation of trinkets does not sustain that appearance. This is a tough one, isn't it? But it looks naff.
Yeah.
It looks naff, doesn't
It's
it?
the bright pink gravel I'd have more of a problem with.
It looks naff.
It's got bright pink writing on the headstone. I mean, this poor woman, I can't imagine what it must be like. It must be awful.
No.
But still, come on.
And, maybe this letter could have been worded a bit better. We don't know if this was kind of the final thing. We don't know whether someone took them aside and said, I'm sorry. Although when it happened locally, they got a cold letter, didn't they?
They got a letter sort of pinned to the headstone.
Take all your tat off. Basically, was what they said.
Yeah.
What happened at the end of that? Do we know?
They were given a stay of execution, weren't they? They were given a bit of extra time.
We should have a look into that to see what.
We'll give them a ring.
What happened? Yeah, because they were discussing it, and a compromise was being suggested.
Well, no, they were going to have a meeting to explain things. I don't think that's necessarily a herald of a compromise.
Let's have a look at that next week. But I mean, but who am I to judge a woman who's got a stillborn baby buried like that? You know, thank God it's never happened to me.
But we've lost people, and we don't feel obliged to personalise their resting place to that extent.
It looks naff. And I just think in a cemetery, things shouldn't look... They should look a bit traditional. I don't want to say classy. Traditional.
Bit of restraint, maybe.
Yeah. 08459 455 555. You got anything else, or should we play a rec?
I think we better play a record.
Then let's do it. A little bit of Dion, who I'm trying to get on the show.
Oh.
I sent him a message on Facebook.
Well, that's trying.
That's trying, isn't it? It's an effort.
This man
loving Dion at the moment. And I love him even more when he replies to my Facebook request.
How old is he now?
40, 50. He's
Plus.
Some. He's old, but he's
Do you
still
think he
doing
runs
it.
his own Facebook thing?
Yeah, I think he does.
How often does he check in?
He's on there quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Oh, hang on, sorry. Yeah, no, he's
on here quite a bit.
He's Boily. Someone's turned up already for... is that right, Kels? Someone's turned up for...
I don't know who yet. I'll go and find out.
Well, no, don't.
Why?
Really? Now, listen, guys, we need to get stricter on this.
We want it to be a surprise.
It's great to have you here. Well, I don't want to know who it is. 7:30 till 8. They should be made to wait outside.
No.
They should be made
Don't be silly.
to wait outside until 7:29.
You want to create an Apple Store type buzz, don't you, outside?
Yes, I do.
Get a velvet rope.
We're like
Cold
Bieber.
out there.
Sorry?
It's cold.
Yeah.
In the summer we can do that.
Hey, I don't know if it's going to carry on until the summer.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Well, someone's turned up. It doesn't mean that you can't turn up. But, if someone said, what happens if 1,000 people turn up? We go and do it in the car park, guys. I get my Woody out and we go and do it in the car park.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the plan. But
We're
if you want to
prepared
turn up,
for that.
Number 1 Hastings Street, Luton. If you want to give us a call, 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sharnbrook.
Hello.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, indeed.
Oh, hello. I was talking to Kelly. On the M11 northbound, there are queues of up to a mile heading towards Junction 8 for Stansted Airport. That's because of ice and snow, and it's caused a number of breakdowns and accidents that have happened there so far this morning, so they've closed some of the lanes approaching the airport, so delays if you're heading to Stansted this morning. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very busy between Junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40, and on the North Orbital Road, it's looking very busy around the M25 Junction 21A roundabout. And I've just been told by Kelly that there's lots of reports this morning of a lorry being in a ditch on the A6 at Sharnbrook, and it's blocked in both directions, so we'll follow that up and let you know in the next bulletin. On the trains, Thameslink are saying that although the problems at Farringdon have been sorted, there are still possible delays until 8 o'clock this morning on services between Bedford and Brighton. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Thameslink trains back on track. 2 more arrests after Bletchley stabbing, and stop and search workshops in Luton.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are expected to return to normal today following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. All lines have reopened, but Network Rail say some delays and cancellations are still possible. An improved compensation offer for passengers starts on Sunday. More from Barry Caffrey.
More than 1 million litres of water have been pumped from the tunnel in central London since a 16-inch Thames water main burst last Friday. Another series of leaks was discovered on Tuesday, which meant more trains were cancelled from Bedford, Luton, Harpenden and St Albans. Some of Thameslink's trains have been damaged by the floodwater, which will lead to some shorter trains and possible cancellations later today.
2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon. The pair, aged 16 and 17 and both from Milton Keynes, were arrested yesterday. A 17-year-old from Bletchley who was arrested on Wednesday has been released on bail. The 16-year-old victim, a sixth form pupil at Lord Grey School, suffered 2 stab wounds but has been discharged from Milton Keynes Hospital. Workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton. The monthly events are part of the Know Your Rights project, which is being backed by Bedfordshire Police. More from Chetan Pathak.
Last year, the Home Secretary Theresa May said stop and search was being misused so often it was damaging relations between the public and police. Part of the new measures makes it harder now for officers to stop someone without grounds for suspicion. The Know Your Rights workshops, of which there'll be 8 more across Luton, teach people about the new rules and how to complain if they feel unfairly treated.
A person was led to safety by firefighters following a flat fire in Hemel Hempstead yesterday evening. Crews were called to Mercury Walk at around 6 p.m. p.m. Events will take place in London today to mark the 50th anniversary of the state funeral of Sir Winston Churchill. More details from Duncan Kennedy.
It was an epic funeral on a grand scale. 1 million people lined the streets of London to witness Winston Churchill's funeral cortege. 25 million people watched on television. This morning, MPs will gather in Parliament to lay a wreath. Later, the barge that carried his coffin down the Thames, the Haven Gore, will retrace the route, past the point where dockside cranes once bowed in remembrance of the man who helped save Britain from the threat of Nazi tyranny.
In sport, Watford travel to Championship leaders Bournemouth tonight. The Hornets are just 4 points behind the South Coast side. And England's cricketers are playing India in Perth. The winners will face Australia in the Tri-Series final. India have been bowled out for 200 with 3 wickets for Watford's Steve Finn. The weather, bright and mainly dry this morning. Light wintry showers later. A maximum temperature 7 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Ian Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Thameslink Compo, stop and search, and did you hear a big bang at about 4:30 this morning in Bedford? 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
In 26 minutes, we open the doors and people can come in and sit with me and Catherine for half an hour and have a chat. Simple as. But we mentioned this bang in Bedford. We had a phone call right at the start of the show from Jane, who was awake at 4:30, heard a big bang, everything went white. Jane's back on the line. Morning, Jane.
Good morning.
So just for those who weren't listening at the ridiculous hour of 6 o'clock, just remind us what happened to you.
Laying in bed, I woke up because I saw lights outside the bedroom window.
Right.
Like fault lightning or something. That's what it seemed like. Didn't think anything of it because I thought it was my husband's phone at first.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden there was this almighty bang with, like electrical lights along with it. And it was quite a loud bang. I phoned up the electric company. They have just called me back, actually, and they said it affected quite a few people.
Oh. So are they saying it's their fault or it's something to do with them?
Well, they're not sure. They're coming out to look at the power lines this morning to find out what the problem is. They said they have found the problem through their computers or something.
Yeah.
But they said it could have been a tree fallen on it or something like that.
Because you've got like an electricity the box thing. What do they call it, Catherine?
A substation.
A substation at the end of your garden.
No, we haven't got one of those. It's just power lines.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're concerned about because they're quite thick, these power lines. So they're going to come out this morning and have a look to see what the problem is. But they said it did affect a lot of other people. They've had calls regarding having no electric and power cuts this morning. So I will get back to you and let you know
Jane,
what they say.
You, in the absence of Justin Dealey, in fact, even if Justin Dealey were here, you are 10 times better than he ever could be, and we appreciate your input, Jane.
Oh, thank you very much.
We'd still like a picture of your blown over bamboo if you can send it.
Yeah, I'll send that to you today.
That'd be wicked, Jane. Thank you very much indeed. If anyone else heard it, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Ian Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Any texts before we crack on with the trains?
Let's have a look. Well, we've got some tweets, I've noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we won't be seeing one of the giant rabbits we were promised, but
that's
maybe
very sad.
Maybe another one in time.
May Charlie rest in peace.
Let me just stall while I check for texts.
Good stalling technique.
Okay.
I like it.
By the way, if anyone else hears a bang in the night or a whisper and you can give us a shout, how did they get in touch with us? Ian?
I don't know.
they give us a call.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You can give us a call, 08459 455 555. You could email me, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk, or you could send us a cheeky text, 81333. Start your text 3CR.
Yeah, this might seem... Oh, here we go. Martin in Linbury talking about the grave.
Oh, yeah, this is a grave of a very sad story. A woman, stillborn baby, she's got a grave, it's got lots of pink gravel on it and stuff, and she's been told she's got to change it.
Martin in Linbury. This might seem a bit cruel, but if the girl was stillborn, how do they know she would have liked that kind of thing?
Well,
it's more for the comfort of the parents.
Yeah, and the graves aren't they, generally? They're for the living as opposed to the dying. And you could say that about a child of any age. Well, how do you know that's what they would have wanted? So I don't think that's particularly pertinent.
The question is, how personal should you be making your loved one's resting place?
You know, if you're going to a cemetery, the standard sounds judgmental, but it's the best word I can think. You know what the standard is, you know what's expected of those graves, really. 08459 455 555. Now, a new compensation scheme for delayed passengers on Thameslink comes into force. Thameslink trains comes into force this weekend. Govia, the operator of the line from Bedford into London, says the way refunds will be calculated will be adjusted to be more generous. Well, meanwhile, a full service is expected on the line today after the flooding problems in central London earlier this week. Roger Perkins, Roger, we should just give you a car parking space here at Three Counties Radio. You're from Govia, who operate the Thameslink service. Let's talk about the service first of all. It was due to Thames Water. We have to keep stressing that. They had a leaky pipe. It got fixed and then it broke again. It got fixed. Where are we now with it? Is it all sorted out?
Well, we've been told it's... thanks for having me on again, and thanks for letting me update people during the week. Yeah, it has been fixed, we're told. It first happened, just to take listeners back, on the Friday. So this time last week, a burst 16-inch water main above the Clerkenwell Tunnel, which is the old bit of tunnel that runs between St Pancras and Farringdon in central London. And essentially it flooded it. And, of course, signalling is electrical connections. That doesn't go very well with water. So the signalling failed. The trains are actually running through water, which was up to railhead height, and at times a little bit beyond that as well. So we've had a terrible service as a result of this, without any shadow of a doubt. And again, I would like to say sorry to people. I know that Network Rail with Thames Water did work literally round the clock. They were pumping, and then the water started coming back in again because we put in a service, didn't we, on the Monday, and then we were told we had a full service for Tuesday. We would have that, which we did, but the water started coming in again. Yep. And it's been incredibly frustrating for people. But it hasn't, can I just say, before we move on to the conversation, but it hasn't finished yet, because some of our trains have been damaged by water. We've been quite upfront about this and telling people. Water has got into some of the axles and electrical components of some of the trains. We're checking the entire fleet, and as a result of that, this morning we haven't got our full fleet at hand, so we've got some trains that are running shorter than normal, and I've done a count up for listeners. This morning between 7 and 10 o'clock there are a total of 17, and there's 7 on the Bedford into St Pancras route that are running with 4 trains instead of 8. We've tried to limit, we've tried to target where we do this to those services that are used the least. But of course, the trouble is, one train will leave from Bedford, or say from Brighton up to Bedford, and that might be a lightly loaded train, but when it comes back, it's forming a very, very busy service, say, from Bedford or from Luton or St Albans. So it means that people are going to suffer some crowded trains.
Be patient. It's all for safety's sake. Let's move on to this compensation thing. The way that compensation for customers is calculated is changing, isn't it? Can you explain it in terms that even an idiot like me could understand?
Well, as far as compensation goes, if you're a passenger and your train is delayed by 30 minutes or more, then you're entitled to compensation. It's a fairly national standard scheme, and you can read up about it on our website. It's quite easy to find. I've got a catchy name for it, Delay Repay. It's an industry-wide thing. We, as Govia Thameslink Railway, we've actually got, on top of that, enhanced compensation, whereby if you've been delayed by that time more than 12 times in a 4-week period, you can claim, and you can get, on top of your normal compensation, you can get another 2 free rail tickets or you can get vouchers to the or you can get a free ticket between your two stations if you're a season ticket holder.
Right.
It's all explained on the website. So that's over and above, and we've been heavily publicising that because of all the delays that we've had recently. Now what's happening is there's a slight discrepancy between the amount, the formula that's used to calculate it compared with First Capital Connect and Go via Thameslink Railway. It amounts to about 5%, and we're adjusting it now to bring it in line with what went previously. I mean, the formula we've been using is a type that's used by other train companies, but it's been pointed out it was not as generous. It's not as generous as under First Capital Connect. So it's going to be brought in line.
Roger, listen, it's excellent news. Thank you very much. Good luck with getting all your trains sorted after that leak. Roger Perkins from Govia.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Ian Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, you've seen the Frozen furore? There's been a Frozen furore.
Oh, about the party that was a little bit too saucy.
It was a little bit raunchy.
And a bit too packed.
Well, in more ways than one. So
She would have been Frozen, wouldn't she, going out like that?
There's a Frozen party. Everyone loves Frozen. Everyone loves Frozen. It's one of the best films ever. Parents shock at Frozen show that revealed too much princess. In the Disney film, she is demure and courageous heroine who has captured the imagination of millions of little girls. And let's be honest, lots of little boys as well. Let's not be sexist.
They still prefer her sister, who's more glamorous and icy.
No, my youngest wants to marry Anna.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, it's Anna he's going to marry. She's the hot one.
She's a fun one, right?
Yeah. So when Princess Anna appeared at a Frozen-themed party, looking more like a burlesque dancer, it sent parents into meltdown. But it sent some of the dads into... Families attending the event were shocked as the performer playing the hit Disney cartoon's key character emerged on stage in a costume-cut solo she was spilling out. Now...
I actually think it was too small and she'd hutched it down a bit.
I can see a picture of her. It's not as outrageous as the description.
There's quite a lot of boob there.
There's a lot of boob. But all the kids looking at are thinking lunch. That's all. They're not seeing it as a sexy thing. I mean, the dads would. Fair play. She's hot. And what do you mean? No, don't pull the no face. She's hot.
Really? You're so obvious.
A physical embodiment of Anna. She's hot. But it's not. I don't think it. I mean, it's not. Kids have seen worse things than that, haven't they? Have they? I don't know. I don't know
what
where.
What are you saying?
When you go to Panto, though. You see
they don't often have a lot of... And I know children's TV presenters say that they have to dress demurely, and that means no cleavage. You know, and you're bobbing down to talk to little children. You want to make sure you're not going to bob out.
Here's the thing. This is what I want to ask, right? Parents complained that the music selection at the £17 a head party, we're in the wrong business, was inappropriate for young children, right? The song that they single out as being inappropriate, I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred.
Couple of bald fellas. Again, same theme.
You get kids singing and dancing to much dirtier songs than I'm Too Sexy.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm Too Sexy is a carry-on song, isn't it? You can imagine Sid James singing. The girls' songs that they sing these days
Rihanna.
are filth.
Yeah,
Rihanna.
But saying that, my sister-in-law runs a party business and they're very careful about the songs that they put out there. Because although the children don't think anything of it, the parents will object.
I'm too sexy for my shirt, so sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. I'm a model, you know what I mean, and I do my little thing on the catwalk, on the catwalk, on the catwalk. I do my little thing on the catwalk.
You see, offensive.
That's not... She wasn't joining in.
I know, what's wrong,
You ain't joining in either. You're the only person I know that doesn't know the words to I'm Too Sexy.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M11 northbound, there are mile-long queues approaching Junction 8 for Stansted Airport because of snow and ice in the road and some vehicles struggling to get up the hill there. And also on the A120 westbound in Birchhanger, that means that's been partially blocked by a lorry that's broken down at the M11 Junction 8 for Bishop Stortford. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very slow between Junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40, and it's also looking very busy on the A1M southbound around Junction 7 for Stevenage. On the A6, it's looking very snowy and icy, so that's causing problems problems between Bedford Road and Shakespeare Road in Bedford because of some lorries that have been stuck in the road near Sharnbrook. They're partially blocking the road. And on the trains, Thameslink services are warning of possible delays between Bedford and Brighton through to St Pancras International because of signalling problems earlier this week in Farringdon. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
(7:17). It's Friday the 30th of January. I'm Ian Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are returning to normal today following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon. And workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tell you what, there's a cracking pic of Al Cath on the Twitter page. Are you going to get it deleted? Is it coming off?
Coming off. It's like me doing Basic Instinct, flipping heck.
It's an optical illusion, but boy, oh boy, you've got to love those optical illusions.
Take it down,
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Well, no, you're from. You can give me your opinion as someone from the British Parking Association. Is it unfair?
Well, there are so many different instances that...
OK, here's an instance.
Before then, in this part of the programme, I'm going to meet Sam Ackerman. Now, she's from High Wycombe. And at her heaviest, she weighed 21 stone.
Yeah, I think I had everyone around me just love me enough to accept where I was.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
I used to have to put up with the house band who couldn't read my music very well and doing a lot of songs I didn't particularly want to sing anyway.
But the question is, Elkie Brooks, do you still do bar mitzvahs?
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Now, if you want to stay married or keep your relationship alive, should you avoid Facebook?
Allowing you to listen to what you missed. bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Is I'm Too Sexy is not an inappropriate song for kids, is it? I mean, some of the stuff you hear young kids singing, you know, some of those songs by those female pop singers, Alanis Morissette and Debbie Gibson, they're very, very, very raunchy lyrics, you know. Well, Madonna, Like a Virgin. Flippin' heck! That was the genius of Madonna, getting a load of 9-year-old girls to sing Like a Virgin, being touched for the very first time. Flippin' heck. So I'm Too Sexy doesn't strike me as being particularly inappropriate. Do you want me to sing it to you again?
You know Gangnam Style?
Yeah.
Hey, sexy lady.
I don't know the words.
I told you about my mate who's told her daughter it's Hey 6080. I'm 60 and I know it.
The boys sing Gangnam Style, and
what words do they sing?
I thought it was Gangnam Star.
No,
Is that wrong?
No, they go. They don't sing. They don't. Gamungza is what the boys sing. Yes, you're right.
My daughter's version is nothing like Move Like a Jazzer. She sings.
What?
Ooh,
Jazzer from The Archers. Is that picture of your...
It's been censored.
OK.
Too hot for Twitter.
Put across.
I almost broke the internet.
It was very, very adult. I managed to save it, though, and I will be distributing it for anyone who pays me £5.
I've got copies.
Excellent stuff.
I'll send them and sign them.
You'll scent them?
Like Dan Chuck.
Oh, with the spray?
Yeah.
OK. It's not a scratch and sniff or anything, then? How good that would be?
Do you think that would make money?
Probably not very much, no. I wouldn't have thought so, no. Well, it's been great working here at BBC Three Counties Radio.
It hasn't, don't lie.
No, not in the slightest.
Hey, you know we're letting people in from 7:30 onwards?
Yeah.
Some are here already.
Yep.
I've just let a man in with 3 dogs with flashing lights on.
Yay! That's something to look forward to. You say some are here. I don't want to know how many. But the doors are open. And just because they're here, it doesn't mean that you can't come in here. You know what I'm waiting for?
Go on.
The dream would be a homeless fella that turns up and says, it's cold. Can I come and sit in here for half an hour? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Trouble is, they don't have radio, so they don't know they're welcome.
Some of them do.
All right, then.
Some of them do. Everybody is welcome, apart from, those people.
People who want to do us harm.
Yeah, people who want to hurt us.
Or people who just want to stare at us That's off-putting.
Starers, the starers work. Just don't. People who want to do us harm, you're not welcome. Okay, and hopefully that will keep them away. I believe ISIS responds.
People getting their coats on as we speak, going, forget it then.
ISIS respond to that kind of. They don't. I was going to go, but I was going to do them harm. Oh well, I'll find somebody else to harm. We don't want any harmers here, but everybody else, more than welcome. More than welcome. I'm stalling because our guest hasn't turned up.
Yeah,
Do I just crack on and see what happens?
No, she said that she's on her way.
Well, I mean...
She's not on her way enough.
I'll do the audio.
Yeah.
And if she's not here, well, we'll sing I'm Too Sexy again.
Oh, hang on.
Someone's just come into the car.
Go and get the door, because you're more likely to be stopped and searched if you're black or you're Asian. It's been a suspicion for some time, but when a report from the Equality and Human Rights Commission confirmed it back in 2013, the government reacted by bringing in a new code of conduct for police, which is why officers and youth workers are holding Know Your Rights sessions for young people across Luton. Our reporter, Chetan Partak, went to the first workshop.
When I challenged the situation, I was told, well, if I don't give that information, then he's going to take my fingerprints and I'll be arrested, and I still need to give the information anyway. You try to defend your rights, so-called rights that you have, but when it's about oppression, really, when the police know, it's a power thing, and when they're trying to use different sections or different parts of the law against you, you as an individual, you don't really have that much knowledge or power.
Was it the first time that you'd been stopped and searched?
No, I've been stopped many times, but that's probably one of the most notable.
But it's the way that it's been applied, what is the issue. When there's no justification in doing it, and the way that it's being used against our community, is the issue.
You say our community, we know that black men are disproportionately stopped. Do you think that in your instances it was because of the colour of your skin?
Certainly, yes. There was no reason. From the officer can't give you a reason for stopping you.
What have you learnt today?
Well, for me, it's to learn and understand what rights you have. I heard somebody say that it's the way you respond, it's responding rather than reacting. So if you have knowledge of what your rights are and what the police are and are not meant to do, then you can react in a lot better way. And for me personally, I don't expect to get stopped and searched regularly anymore.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Ian Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, you cut it fine, young lady.
I know.
You cut it fine.
I know.
One of the people behind those workshops is Yvonne Sinclair. She joins me now. Morning, Yvonne. Thanks for coming in. What's the point of these workshops? Why do we need them?
We need them to help to bring cohesion between Luton Police, Bedfordshire Police and community of Luton.
Yeah.
It's about building cohesion, really. Building partnerships, building relationships, and trying to really cut out all of the old stuff and create something.
What do you mean by the old stuff? What?
There's a lot of negativity between the police and the community. Everybody knows that. We're not going to hide the fact. So last year, after a string of events, I had an idea to do some workshops. I spoke to Lenos Wilson from TNVA back then, and we started to work on something, and then I decided to take it at a different angle, and then the police put me in contact with Montel Novell, who works with young people predominantly, and then we tweaked the workshop, and now it's live and running.
So what happens in the workshop? What do you talk about?
We talk about rights. It's the rights to stop and search, which is a pretty big issue around the country. Why do the police find it that they can just stop you at any given time? And it's about allowing people to know their rights, what they can and can't do, what they can and can't say. If a police officer was to do, for instance, just say, I want to search you, there's a number of things that he has to do before that search takes place. But not a lot of people know that, and so sometimes people feel like the police pick on them, they're intimidated, or sometimes it's the police keep arresting the same people.
Right.
There's no arrests, no convictions and nothing. So Theresa May has changed some of the law now, so to make it better for the community, and so that the tool is actually used for the community. It's there to protect us, but the people who have the powers can't abuse their powers. Well, not supposed to abuse their powers. So now we're running these workshops so people know if this happens, that's an abuse of power. if that happens, that's not an abuse of power. So it's it's empowering the community, but it also empowers the police, because the police are at the workshops as well.
Oh, okay, that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interaction. Yesterday when it went on, there was a lot of interaction between the community and the police.
Was yesterday the first one?
It was the first
How
one.
many people turned up?
We had 22.
Okay. And so what age were they? Were they all young black men?
No.
Right,
no.
Who was there?
There was older black men, younger black men, Asian men, younger and older. There were some white men, but not many young people.
Okay.
So yesterday's one was a pilot,
right,
and it was targeted at youth professionals. Really, we wanted to get an insight from them as to what they're hearing on the street, what they're hearing from young people,
yeah,
what they know, because also equally with youth professionals, they need to know their rights too, because they've got all these young people coming in. So they have to be at a place where they actually understand legislation as well,
yeah,
in regards to young people. So the workshop is targeted at young people, but it's also targeted at those who work with young people, teachers, parents even. It's really important that you know.
Well, knowledge is power, isn't it? And if you know what your rights are, and you know what you have to do and what you don't have to do, well, that is a very empowering thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
There is a lot of, we talk about Leon Briggs here and Farouk Ali, and another story about a young gentleman who had his neck broken in an incident that's been investigated.
Yeah.
Do you think that things like this... Is there too much damage done already between, ethnic communities and the police? Do you think it can be turned around?
I think it can.
Yeah?
I think it can. I think, personally speaking, this is my own personal view, I think that things have happened. Some really tragic things have happened. But I think now that if the police are prepared to make significant changes, hold up their hand, make those changes and work with the community, I think that we can begin to turn it around.
Do you think the police will do that?
We've got some pretty good officers in terms of the community officers.
Yeah.
And I think it's doable if they can get everyone on board. Yesterday I was saying, there was some kind of negativity things that was being said, and I was saying to some of the people there, if you want to see change, then you have to be the change you want to see. And it's as simple as that. So it's all well and good that we're saying, oh, this has happened, that's happened, that's happened. Yes, we know that, and we have to learn from everything that's happened in the past. But moving forward, if we want to see change, then we have to be the change.
Yvonne, listen, we're out of time. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you made it. If people want to find out more about this, where do they go?
They can go to my website, which is i2iu.com.
Say that again.
I2iu.
I-T-O... No. Number 2.
Yeah. IU.
Okay.
.com.
Lovely.
Yeah, or they can just go to www.yvonnemsinclair.com.
Brilliant.
And they'll find
I wish you the best of luck with it, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on. Thank you very much indeed.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are still delays on the M11 northbound because the exit slip road at junction 8 for Stansted Airport is closed. And that's because of ice and snow in the road, and it's caused a number of accidents and breakdowns there this morning. There is a lorry stuck there in the snow at the moment. On the M11 towards London, it's very busy around junction 9 for Redbourne, and the M25 anti-clockwise is very slow from junction 19 for Watford to 16 for the M40. On the A6, that's been partially blocked because of a number of lorries that have got stuck in the road between Rushden and Bedford. And on the A1 southbound, it's looking very slow on the speed sensors between the St Neots Junction and the Black Cat roundabout. On the trains, there's no major delays at the moment showing up on the departure boards, but Thameslink are warning of possible delays between Bedford and Brighton through St Pancras International because of the flooding and signalling problems there earlier this week. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are returning to normal today following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon, and workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Watford travel to Championship leaders Bournemouth tonight. Slavisa Jakanovic's Hornets are just 4 points behind the South Coast side.
They are definitely a team. for explain simple. They have right team mentality. We are in this way for catch what they have actually now. They know exactly what they must do.
And there's full commentary on Watford at Bournemouth on tonight's Three Counties Sport from 7. Tomorrow, MK Dons go to Crewe in League One with the Dele Alli transfer saga still going on. Newcastle are favourites to sign him, but Aston Villa are reportedly making an 11th hour bid. Here's Dons manager Cole Robinson.
We're not getting too carried away with everything. We just keep playing our football, because our goals at the beginning of the season obviously weren't to be as where we were today. So we thought we'd be in the mix, but we didn't expect to be sort of 15 points clear of the team in 7th. So we're in a great position for forthcoming games, and we're looking forward to them.
In League Two, leaders Wickham host Portsmouth. Luton hosts Cambridge. Hatters manager John Still is waiting for news on former England striker Andy Johnson.
We're really waiting for Andrew to come to us. He's the one that has to decide if he wants to play. And it isn't about wanting to play, it's about wanting to play with an energy, a drive, an enthusiasm to help get this club promoted. And Andrew, on his comeback, he said at the moment he wasn't sure that playing was what he wanted to do.
And also in League Two tomorrow, Stevenage are at home to Oxford. England's cricketers are playing India in Perth. The winners will face Australia in the Tri-Series final. India have been bowled out for 200, 3 wickets for Watford's Steve Finn. And at the Australian Open tennis, number 1 seed Novak Djokovic faces defending champion Stan Wawrinka later for the right to meet Andy Murray in Sunday's final. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
This is Ian Lee.
Well.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, on Fridays, and I'm so annoyed because I keep forgetting to mention this every day of the week between 7:30 and 8. I keep meaning to talk about Open Door Fridays, Open Door policy, where basically anyone can walk in. 7:30 till 8 o'clock on a Friday, you're allowed to come in. Open Door policy. That's what I'm calling it. You're calling it something different, Catherine.
Free for all Friday.
Well,
it is a free-for-all.
But it's an open-door policy. The policy is the door is open.
It's not, though. You have to...
And it's not a free-for-all, because we're not going to, people aren't going to be... Anyway.
They can.
Here come a shed load of people.
Excellent.
Kelly's gone upstairs like the Pied Piper. Hello, everyone.
Can I just say hello to the gentleman who just called and hung up on me, angry at something Jonathan Vernon-Smith has said?
Well, don't get angry with us about Jonathan Vernon-Smith.
No, it was hilarious.
What was he angry about?
Oh, he said I should have watched a television programme and that Jonathan had got it all wrong.
Morning. Everybody come in. Let's turn all these microphones on. Come in. Oh, my flipping goodness gracious me. What's going on there? Right. It's a full house. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What have you brought? You can bring the dogs in if you want. Bring the dogs in. Look at these.
This is brilliant. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. You two take a seat. Let's go round this. I'm going to write your names down. What's your name, sir? Harvey. OK, Harvey. What's your name, sir? Colin. Morning, Colin. Who have we got over here? Let's go. Let's start. Mum's not talking. Look at Mum. The thing I've noticed, Catherine, we have mums come in every week. Cowards. Stage mums, isn't it?
They are cowards. All right, Mum, we may speak to you. Are you going to speak, young lady? OK, we've got a silent young lady there. What's your name?
Manissa.
Melissa?
Manissa.
Thank you very much. And are you Jill?
I am Mrs. Fry, yes.
Excuse me.
I'm on duty now.
Mrs. Fry. Because I tell you why I say that, Mrs. Fry. Because last week I met someone and they said, it's good that you set this thing up and you get these people to come in. I said, no, I don't set them up at all. People just turn up.
This is the point.
People just turn up. So I'm going to put my cards on the table. You emailed me yesterday, Mrs. Fry, and you did say that you were possibly going to come in.
Yes.
With Manissa.
Can I just say at this point, the heavy breathing you can hear isn't the guests, it's the dogs.
Yeah, Colin, who have you brought with you, mate?
Stella Artois and Caffrey. 3 chocolate Labradors.
They've got boozy. No, come a little bit closer to the microphone. Colin.
Yeah,
Sit down.
yeah.
You've got 3 dogs.
Yes.
They're beautiful.
Stella Artois, Caffrey.
How old are they?
10, 7 and 3.
Oh, blimey. Why have they got such exciting lighting on?
They're gun dogs, in training and everything, so I can see them from a distance.
Hang on, so we've got a gunman in the studio. Just if anyone's listening upstairs.
So, right, what do you mean by a gun? What does a gun dog do? That goes and gets animals that have been shot, pheasants and things.
Yes.
And so to train them, you put bright lights on them so that when they go off, you know.
I train them through the year with lights at night time or whenever.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. How far are they into their training?
Well, these 2 are up and working.
Yeah.
and this one's in training.
Okay. Well, and when was the last time they went out on a hunt?
Last year.
Last year. Okay. And they look very friendly. Are they basically going to maul any of us? Is the question?
No, it's mother, daughter, granddaughter.
Oh, really? Fantastic.
Three generations.
Harvey, you look a little bit nervous.
No, I'm okay.
Next to the dogs. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Harvey, let's start with you. What the hell are you doing here, man?
I just thought
Come a little bit closer to the microphone. I know it's a little bit awkward, but let's move this one up here. There we go.
Can they put their headphones on so I can talk to them as well?
Oh yeah. We've got headphones here. If you put your headphones on, you'll be able to hear. Actually, if you go for that one, and we'll pass that one round, you'll be able to hear Catherine talking in there as well.
This is me through the window.
Hi, Catherine.
Hello, Harvey.
Melissa, you got your headphones on, Mrs. Fry. You got your headphones on. You can hear Catherine. Okay. So Harvey, look, why did you want to come in this morning? Because this is a weird thing to do. You look like a sensible gentleman. You look like you've got responsibilities. You look like you may even have a job.
Yeah, I'm on my way into work, so I thought I'd pop in and just say I listen to you all the time. So
Okay.
I like the Mr. T a few weeks back.
Mr. T was, for those who missed it, we had Mr. T coming in, which was incredible. You weren't here for Mr. T.
I missed that when I was listening at home. I was absolutely gutted. He was brilliant.
Okay, so where are you local?
Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you work in Luton?
No, on the way to Bedford, so Tempsford.
Okay. Is it snowing out there yet?
It was yesterday, but it wasn't that. It didn't settle too long. So.
Okay. And why? I've got to ask. Why do you listen to this show? Because we kind of expect, Catherine, it to be. I don't know. In my head, I have
weirdos.
Yeah, it's kind of. We kind of expect it to be weirdos listening, and you look.
I'm not a weirdo.
No, you don't look like a weirdo.
You're not weird enough.
Oh no.
This thing. Tell us why you listen to the show.
It's just really interesting. Lots of diverse conversations going on. Lots of different subjects.
Who's your least favourite member of the team?
I was going to say you. No, of course not. Of course not.
Listen, Dealey's in a foreign country. If you want to slag off Dealey.
Oh yeah.
How long you lived in Milton Keynes for?
Basically, I was born in Luton.
Yeah.
My dad worked for Vauxhalls,
Yeah.
and then we moved to Bletchley, and then we've been basically in Milton Keynes since '74. So quite a long time.
So you've seen it change a lot because I kind of my nan used to live in Milton Keynes in the late '70s, early '80s,
Yeah.
and it's a completely different place, isn't it?
Yeah, completely different. Yeah.
Do you like it though?
Yeah, it's good.
Because Milton Keynes gets bad press, doesn't it?
Oh,
the
you should
roundabouts
see
and
it
the
now.
concrete cows, and it's easy to make jokes about, isn't it?
It is easy, but the development going on and everything around MK1, around the football ground is amazing. Like lots of restaurants and.
Colin, how long have you been working with dogs?
All my life.
Really? Why? What's the attraction of them?
Oh, well, there's company.
Yeah.
Never say anything wrong. Just wag their tail all the time.
You know I'm a cat man, not a dog man, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because...
Don't mix.
He looks disgusted with me, Catherine.
I can understand that.
Because cats I just find a bit more sociable, a bit friendlier. Why try and sell dogs to me? What have dogs given you in your
They're
life?
more loyal than cats. Cats are independent. These are more loyal and obedient. They please you and they want to be with you most of the time.
And have you had these dogs since they were pups? These ones here?
Yes, they're self-bred at home.
Right, okay.
And this one's going to have a litter in June the 12th.
Oh, blimey. How many in a litter?
7 to 8, 9.
And then what do you sell them on? Do you keep them?
Yeah, keep one.
Keep one and sell the rest on?
Yeah.
I always thought that would be quite hard work, because the puppies are kind of cute. And I would
Especially little chocolate Labradors.
And all the puppies that I sell on, they've all got Kennel Club names associated with beer. So this one's got Stella Artois, and this one's got Caffrey, I've got Guinness, and everything else.
Well,
what it was someone said, can I get sponsorship for Dry January?
Yeah. Oh.
So I've gone for it.
Oh, okay. You doing a Dry January?
Yeah, so I'll come in and see if you'll sponsor me for Dry January. For Keats Cottages and Grove Hospice.
I tell you what, you're not getting any money out of me, but because if everyone did that, I'd be skint. But we'll give it a proper plug before the end of the end of the hour. Definitely.
I've got sponsorship forms here.
Well done for
Grove
you.
House at St Albans City Hospital.
And why did you pick that one?
Well, because Grove House is South Down Harpenden, and then in Luton you've got Keats Cottage, which is the hospice for Luton and Harpenden.
And have you got a personal connection with that, or you just?
I know Mary out of South Down Harpenden, because I know her personally, and I've known. I've spoken to Jackie and Dominic at Luton Keats Cottage, because that was suggested by a friend of mine from the Skew Bridge pub at Harpenden.
How are you finding the Dry January?
Got 2 days left, so.
And does that mean, bearing in mind we've got young ears in the studio with us, on the 1st of February, are you going to make up for lost time?
I don't know. Someone else is trying to get me to do January as well, and they've already sponsored it. I said, as long as it goes to Keats Cottage and Grove...
You might do a dry February, is that what you're saying?
They're asking me to.
He's not got his headphones on. I want to ask him, are you feeling any better for it? Cause,
I'm moon. Sleep changes, personality changes. Yes, it's everything.
Really?
Yes,
Gosh.
you do. You get up early in the morning. You get jobs done.
You get more done.
You do get more done. I haven't had a drink for 10 years, and boy, what I've achieved in those 10 years.
Have you lost any weight on it?
No.
No.
You try to just go up a little bit.
I was going to say,
you're out walking more. You're not there.
What are you doing to make up for it? Are you eating more?
No, a little bit. When you give up a craving, you start other cravings. So at the same time, what I did was I gave up sugar, I gave up watching TV, and I just gave the whole lot, because then it becomes confusing which one you've given up.
Yeah.
So therefore it becomes easier.
Doing it all in one go.
Yes.
Would you say you were a heavy drinker before?
Yes.
How heavy?
Very heavy.
You wouldn't say you're alcoholic though, would you?
No,
not a problem. But you enjoyed a bit of booze.
But yes,
yeah,
without a doubt.
You enjoying life more without it?
Yes.
So why don't you make it a permanent life? If you're enjoying life better, you can make it a permanent lifestyle choice.
I shall consider it.
I'm not getting pressure on.
I know. I can see from the look in your face that's a frightening thought. Just carry on until you don't feel like doing it anymore.
I could go for it. Once asked, I could do it.
Just don't think too far in advance. You'd have to make a decision.
No, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Was it easy? Because I said I haven't had a drink for 10 and a half years.
I stopped on the 31st of December.
Yeah.
Sorry, 30th, just to test myself on them 2 biggest nights of the year.
Yeah. Oh, so you didn't have a drink on New Year's?
No.
No, OK.
And if I did that, then I knew I could carry through January with ease.
And did you spend New Year's at a party, or were you on your own?
No, I was at a party.
OK,
yeah.
and did people say, "Hey, Colin, come on, mate, what's going on with you?"
I took the dogs for a walk. It was freezing cold, and I went in and had cups of coffee. I said, "I'm freezing," and they took on to it.
They bought that one,
and then they twigged it on days 3rd of January, saying, "Colin, you're drinking coffee. You're doing dry January." I said, "Yeah, but I'm keeping it quiet."
Yeah.
And they said, "No, Colin, go and get sponsorship."
Yeah.
And it's the reason why it escalated.
And were your friends surprised?
Yes, I've taken people in the pub since.
Yeah.
And all the sponsorship forms are behind a couple of locals. I go in Harpenden.
Yeah.
And they go in and say, "What do you drink?" I say, pint. There's already a pint of coffee ready for them.
A pint of coffee?
Yeah. And yes, it's either cappuccino or instant. It depends on the time. And then they go, "Oh, what's the matter?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "It just cost you a £5 or a £10. I'd give them the sponsorship form."
Well, listen, can people sponsor you online at all? Have you got anything?
Yeah, I've got email.
Right, we'll make sure we give that a plug before the end of the show. I want to come to Mrs. Fry and Manissa, isn't it? Manissa, tell us now. I have had a little clue as to what you're here for, but come close to the microphone, Manissa. We've got a minute, and then we'll talk a bit more after the travel, if that's all right. Because tell us briefly what you're here for.
We're here for World War I and how it changed Luton.
Okay.
And we're doing BBC Schools Report.
OK, now I've heard about this BBC Schools Report. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go to the travel and the news and the weather, and then we'll find out a little bit more about it.
Okay.
Is that your mum?
Yes.
Do you reckon? Is there any chance that we could persuade her to say something before the end of the show?
Of course. Yeah.
Mum's going, no, let's have none of that. Listen, stay there. I'm going to do a little bit. You can take as many pictures as you want, by the way. If you want to take photos, feel free to snap away. Let's go to Sammy and get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M11 northbound, there are 3-mile queues towards Junction 8 for Stansted Airport because of the ice and snow in the road and a number of accidents and breakdowns that have happened as a result of that. It's also looking very slow on the A120 in both directions through Puckeridge, between there and Bishop Stortford around Horse Cross because of those problems on the M11. Looking at the speed sensors on the M1 towards London, it's very busy around Junction 9 for Redbourne, and the A1M southbound's also looking very slow around Junction 7 for Stevenage. On the A6, that's partially blocked because of accidents and breakdowns with lorries stuck in the road between Bedford Road at Rushden and Shakespeare Road at Bedford, and that's around the Sharnbrook area. And on the trains, Thameslink are saying that although the problems with flooding at Farringdon are fixed, they are expecting possible delays between Bedford and Brighton, and the 7:59 train to London King's Cross is delayed by 10 minutes. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Right, 7:45. It is Friday, the 30th of January, and we've got a load of people in the studio. You take as many pictures as you want while we do this. These are your headlines. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are returning to normal today, following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon, and workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton. We'll have more from the guests in the studio after the weather with Alina.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning, Ian. We have a yellow warning from the Met Office today. This is to cover the risk of ice for the next few hours, where we've had some showers overnight, and with temperatures currently close to freezing in places, could find some slippery conditions on untreated surfaces. But all of our showers are just about gone now. Some spells of sunshine will be developing through the morning. Still can't rule out 1 or 2 showers. They will be mainly of sleet or rain if you catch one. Maybe just the odd snowflake in there, but nothing that's going to lead to any accumulations. It's only going to be a cold day, even though temperatures will be up a little bit on yesterday's values at around 5, maybe 6 Celsius, but add on the strength of that cold northwesterly wind and it will feel much colder than those temperatures suggest. Clear spells at first tonight, and that will allow temperatures to drop down to freezing. Could well be a risk of ice once again on untreated surfaces. A few wintry showers as well developing through the early hours, a little bit hit and miss, but could have some sleet, some snow, some rain in them even at lower levels. And then for tomorrow morning, still some wintry showers for a time, some sunny spells in the afternoon, but we pick up a much colder northerly wind tomorrow, so it's going to feel bitter out and about. Highs of 4 or 5 Celsius, feeling more like sub-zero in the wind chill. Similar conditions on Sunday, bright with some sunny spells, but very cold in that strong northerly wind, and we keep the cold theme as we go into Monday.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk about your story. They're little globules of it's chocolate. What is that sticking out of that?
That's the abdomen of the ant.
Roberto Perroni.
Film critic Richard Fitzwilliams, welcome to the programme. Richard, will you be watching Rambo 5?
They are unsubtle, they are silly, and they do not appeal.
Overweight people are being ignored, humiliated and insulted on a regular basis.
When you're in the supermarkets, people watching what you're picking up and passing comments.
Can I ask you, Claudette, what does it cost to have a cycle of IVF when you decide, well, I have to have children?
It all totalled to nearly £25,000. When you're in such a low and desperate place, you'll do anything.
Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Colin, what are you doing with those dogs?
Who's been sitting in my chair?
The dogs.
No, they're on the interview on the show.
No, they can let them have their pictures taken. Let them have their pictures taken. I tell you what, while you're doing that, let's speak to Manissa. So, Manissa, just tell us what school you go to. Come nice and close to the microphone, that's it.
I go to Icknield High School.
OK, and is it any good? And I know Mrs Fry stood next to you, but she can't hear you. Is it any good?
Actually, it's a really good school and I love going.
Tell me why you like it so much.
Well, personally, I love art, so it was the best choice for me.
Yeah.
And because I have all of my friends there as well, so it's a great opportunity.
It makes it. It's nice if you've got lots of friends there.
Yeah.
What's your favourite lesson? Is it art?
Yes.
And what kind of art do you do?
I do general art, which is basically every kind of art. So I do sketching and painting, mostly.
Because I could never do it. I was never. Do you find it comes naturally, your artistic bent, or do you have to really work at it?
Sometimes it comes naturally, but you can also work at it and you can get better at it.
Okay. So listen, you're here for World War One.
Yes.
And just tell us, what is this BBC reporter thingy bob?
It's about World War One and how it changed Luton.
Okay.
It's more like interesting. And it's a schools report.
It's a schools report.
BBC Schools Report as well. BBC Schools Report is when we do report.
Sorry, ignore the dogs having their pictures taken at the moment. They're opposing. You carry on, Melissa. Go on.
We do reports for BBC, is that right?
Yeah, it's a BBC initiative for young people to act like journalists.
Oh, blimey.
And they do films and they upload it to a website and it all gets linked up to the BBC. And they go out and about, and we're actually doing an outside broadcast.
Oh, blimey.
Filming at Wardam.
Hey, they'll be after your job, Boyley.
They can have it. When can they start? Can I go home?
You wouldn't want to do this for a living, would you? Or would you?
Actually, it would be a good thing to do as a living because you get new people coming in every day.
Yeah.
And it's a new topic every day.
I tell you what, it's exciting because you do get to do some interesting stuff. You get to do a lot of boring stuff as well. Would you say, Catherine?
Well, I get to do more boring stuff than you do, but that's all part of the job.
You get to hang out with me. That's not boring. Rude.
Awkward.
Awkwardo. So okay. So what exactly are you doing for this report about World War I? Then you're looking at how it affected Luton.
Yes, and if anyone's got any stories out there, like family stories of World War I, we'll really appreciate it if they can phone in or email Icknield High School, because it will give us more resources.
I'll tell you what they can do is have you got an email address that's safe for you, or should they email me and I forward it on?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I tell you what then. So just tell us what kind of stories you're looking for, and then they can email me and I'll send it on to Mrs. Fry if we get anything.
Stories about people in their family that were in World War I, and how it changed Luton and what the effects were and how it affected people as well as around.
All right, well, if anyone's got any stories like that, then ian.lee, IAIN.LEE at bbc.co.uk. If we get anything in, Mrs. Fry, then we'll send it in. I wasn't doing anything like this when I was at... How old are you?
I'm 13.
13. See, at 13, I was causing mayhem.
Were you?
Yeah, I was a very naughty boy.
See, this is what happens. I worked very hard, I ended up here.
I did work very hard, and I'm stood here in my socks talking to a load of strangers.
But it sounds like a really interesting way of learning about history. You're bringing it to life, you know. What did we learn about? Industrial Revolution?
Oh, the spinning jenny.
Yeah.
Oh, flip it. Do you even know what the spinning jenny is?
No.
You don't want to know. It's pointless. I learned about that.
Threshing accidents,
yes,
all that kind of stuff.
We also have a second story, though.
Oh, yeah, go on.
The listeners could help.
Yeah.
We're doing a focus on Luton Town Football Club as well.
Oh, yes.
What the promotion meant to the fans of Luton.
Oh, here we go. You're going to get loads on this.
Anyone's got any stories to do with that as well? We're hoping to meet the manager very soon as well.
Okay. We'll send Justin Dealey your way. He'll bang on about that. Again, send an email to me, and if anything we get, we'll send it on. Colin, what were you doing at school at 13?
Studying.
Now, come on, were you? Let's be honest, because at 13, I was just starting to discover the wonder of, being naughty, really. I would imagine it for me, it kind of started about 12, 13. I discovered, and don't follow this as a career path, that messing around with my mates was kind of more fun than... You know, learning French, for example. Were you?
Nah, messing around would go down the lines of...
Yeah, you were...
Especially my art teacher. I tripped him over when he was doing a rugby scrum, so I pulled his one leg out from underneath him. He fell over.
Blimey. Did you get... you were probably in the days, and basically I'm saying you're old. Was caning around then? Would you got a wallop for that?
In our class, there was one tall guy, about 6'6". Always get a tall one. He had size 11 slipper, pimp soles. Yeah. It did hurt.
Yeah, we got the slipper. Imagine that I'm old enough to have been at school when the teacher would hit me with a slipper for being naughty.
Black pimp sole.
At my dad's school, you could select the slipper. He enjoyed those punishments.
It was horrible, wasn't it? What weird. I mean, I got the slipper once or twice, and I was 10 years old. Why would you hit a 10-year-old with a shoe? That's insane, isn't it?
Harvey never got it. Look at his face.
Harvey, you've got the face, right? And I can imagine you as a little boy, a grown man now, but I can imagine, Harvey creating mayhem, but he's got that innocent little kind of chipmunk face that would say, well, it couldn't have been Harvey. Who did this? Were you a bit of a swat at school?
No, I wasn't a swat, but I did get in a bit of trouble at times.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you get up to? Just come a little bit closer to the mic, Harvey.
Just banter with friends, really. I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing as well. I'm making up a lot. When you look at people, Minister, when you speak to people, you kind of make stuff up. And I'm making up that you were into your video games a bit.
Oh no, not video games. No, I can't play any video games.
Oh really?
I'm useless at them.
I'm kind of aging you here as well as like a Sega Mega.
Oh, I did have a Sega Mega Drive.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. You see, I can tell what type of console you had.
The dog's coming close.
Gosh, it's like a geeky Derek Acora.
The dog's sniffing Harvey's Harvey. So, which is we'll move on. So you were kind of a good boy, were you?
I was all right.
Yeah. Okay. Are you sure?
I got by.
Yeah. Okay. Melissa,
no, they're not. No. Shall I pass on your number?
Oh, Catherine's taking a phone call. Look, this is exciting. Melissa, you The dogs are quite well behaved. Which is the one that's going for Harvey's? I would stand up, Harvey. I would stand up because you don't want just. Let's all tread delicately around what's happening here. But dogs are doing what dogs do. That's what's going on. You got off lightly, Catherine, being in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't get
particularly after that picture earlier.
Well,
on.
Exactly. Don't refer to the picture.
No,
it's been
okay.
deleted. Thank goodness.
They're not going to do a wee in here, are they? They're completely. They know what they're doing. All right. Harvey, well, listen, we're kind of nearly coming to the end. Let's give a plug, Colin. If people want to sponsor you,
yes,
you're doing dry January.
Yes,
could be doing dry February. Could be doing a dry life.
Could be.
Look at the terror in your eyes as that is suggested. If people want to, just remind us where the money's going, and if they want to get in touch, how can they do that?
Grove House Hospice in Harpenden, which supports the St Albans City Hospital, and also Keats Hospice, which is in Harpenden and Luton as well.
Yep. And if people want to get in touch with you
I'm doing half and half, so half goes to Grove House and half goes to Keats Hospice.
And if people want to sponsor you, how do they get in touch?
Email me.
Okay, do you want to give out your email address?
Colin John Barfoot, so that's Colin, C-O-L-I-N, John, J-O-H-N, Barfoot, B-A-R, F for Freddie, O-O-T for Tommy, at outlook.com.
Okay. I hope you understand why I'm going to say no, because I would every week I would get people coming in tapping me up for a few quid, and but I wish you the very, very best of luck with it. Just remind us, you're looking for stories about Luton Town and World War One.
Yes.
And if people have got anything they want, if they send it to me, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk, I will forward those on to Mrs. Fry.
And the football club.
And the football club as well. You want to celebrate them. I hate football. Are you a football fan, Manissa?
No.
No, I don't get the point of it. Colin, you like a bit of football, do you?
Not really, never. Rugby.
I don't. Harvey?
Yes.
You're a football fan?
Yes.
Who do you support?
Liverpool.
Well, hang on a minute. You've lived in Luton and Milton. This is why I don't get about football. You've lived in Luton and Milton Keynes your whole life.
It was John Barnes.
Was it the rap in the song?
It was.
Yeah, and the isotonic advert. That's what did it. Harvey, anything else you want to give us before we kick you out into the cold?
I'm promoting some shows in Milton Keynes.
Oh, hello.
Doing Misha Paris.
She
was on Nick Coffer this week.
Yeah, we like a bit of Misha Paris. Yeah.
And Ian and Natalie from Strictly, and John Christoph, who's local.
Who's John Chris? He's a chef, is he?
Yeah.
Hang on a second. What does a chef do in a show, Catherine?
Well, Jean-Christophe is a show all of himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. He just cooks on stage, does he?
Yeah, he will be cooking on stage with Nigel.
He's French. He does the French accent and everything.
These chef shows are very popular, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They're a big thing. I don't understand why someone would go and watch someone doing a bit of cooking. If people want to find out more about the shows, Harvey, get the plug in. Where do they go?
Twitter.com/audience-with and Facebook.com/audience-with.
Bless you. Thank you. Right, well, listen, it's very nice to meet you all. I wish you all the very best of luck in your endeavours. So nice for you to come in.
Thank you.
Get out. Okay. Get out. Listen, you've been very, very kind. I appreciate it. But let's stick around because we'll get some pictures and stuff done. Right, that's it. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Normal services resume in a bit. Let's get the travel. Here's Sammy.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The cold and snowy weather still causing delays on the M11 northbound. There are 3 mile queues now on the approach to Junction 8 for Stansted Airport because of some lorries that have got stuck in the snow and some accidents that have happened there. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's looking very busy between Junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And in Hemel Hempstead, looking at the speed sensors on the A41 southbound from the Hemel Hempstead turn off towards the M25 is looking very slow. On the A6 at Sharnbrook, it's still partially blocked because of some lorries that have got stuck in the snow between Rushden and Bedford. That's now causing delays from the A45 at Chowns Mill. And the trains Thameslink say that although the problems are fixed at Farringdon with the flooding and signalling delays as a result, there may still be some delays between Bedford and Brighton, but no major problems are showing up on the speed sensors on the public transport boards at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Thameslink trains back on track. 2 more arrests after Bletchley stabbing, and stop and search workshops in Luton.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are returning to normal today following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. All lines have reopened, but Network Rail say some delays and cancellations are still possible. Roger Perkins is from Govia Thameslink.
Water has got into some of the axles and electrical components of some of the trains. We're checking the entire fleet, and as a result of that, this morning we haven't got our full fleet at hand, so we've got some trains that are running shorter than normal.
2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon. The pair, aged 16 and 17, and both from Milton Keynes, were arrested yesterday. A 17-year-old from Bletchley, who was arrested on Wednesday, has been released on bail. The 16-year-old victim, a sixth-form pupil at Lord Grey School, suffered 2 stab wounds but has been discharged from Milton Keynes Hospital. Workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton. The monthly events are part of the Know Your Rights project, which is being backed by Bedfordshire Police. Yvonne Sinclair organises and runs the workshops.
Things have happened. Some really tragic things have happened. But I think now that if the police are prepared to make significant changes, hold up their hand, make those changes and work with the community, I think that we can begin to turn it around.
Do you think the police will do that?
We've got some pretty good officers in terms of the community officers.
Yep.
And I think it's doable if they can get everyone on board.
Firefighters are calling for urgent meetings with the government and local authorities following a report into firefighter fatalities over the past 10 years. The report, commissioned by the FBU, includes the deaths of 2 firefighters at Harrow Court in Stevenage in 2005 and says training and risk management needs to improve. Events are taking place in London today to mark 50 years since the state funeral of Sir Winston Churchill. More from Ellie Zaniewicka.
Half a century on, politicians are coming together today to pay tribute to Sir Winston Churchill. This morning, the Houses of Parliament will host a remembrance service and a wreath-laying ceremony. Later, there's going to be a recreation of the flotilla which carried Churchill's coffin along the Thames, with members of the family travelling on board the very vessel that was used 50 years ago. And finally, a special service will be held at Westminster Abbey, celebrating the man who's remembered as our greatest wartime leader.
In sport, England's cricketers need 201 to beat India in Perth and qualify to face Australia in the Tri-Series final. Earlier, India were all out for 200 with 3 wickets for Watford's Steve Finn. And Watford travel to Championship leaders Bournemouth tonight. The Hornets are just 4 points behind the South Coast side. The weather bright and mainly dry this morning. Some light wintry showers later. A maximum temperature 7 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Well, that was fun. Thank you to Harvey, Colin, Manissa, Mrs. Fry, Stella, Artois, Caffrey. They've gone. I love it. I think we might be onto something here. Needs a bit more tinkering, but thank you everyone who turned up. Don't forget, if you've got a story about World War I in Luton or Luton Football Club, you can email me, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk, and I'll forward it all on to Mrs. Fry. Right. On with the show. Trains, stop and search. Oh, and anything else you fancy. It's Friday, for goodness sakes.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ah, dear. I missed my opportunity. We were all busy having photos taken with all of those lovely people that popped in, and I missed my window of wee-opportunity. That's normally when I have a little wee at 8 o'clock.
Well, and we can't put American Pie on now, so you're going to have to style it out, my friend.
Hey, they were nice, weren't they?
They were great.
Those dogs enjoyed sniffing.
Did they? I'm really glad I wasn't in there.
Poor Harvey.
He was the nearest one.
He was the nearest one, and he sat with his legs wide open. What did he expect? What did he expect? That was fun.
It was really fun.
It needs a little bit of tinkering. The thing is, I can be really cocky with people on the telephone, easy, and I might be in a second. But face to face, well done, Kels, thank you for that. Face to face, I get a bit tongue-tied. But we need to, because for those who don't know how this works, Catherine was in a different studio. We need to make sure that you're in here, and I think maybe if you get hold of Justin's Woody.
Oh, do you think he'll let me?
He won't mind, will he? He won't mind. We'll sort it out. But it was good, wasn't it?
It's not necessarily his, is it? It belongs to everybody.
Yeah, I know, but he claims ownership of it. David's in Luton. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
What would you like to say, David?
Well, it's Dignity Day today for care. And currently, and this has been going on for several years, it's currently a nationwide disgrace. And in many parts, a catastrophic failure.
In what? Care? For the elderly?
Yes.
Yep.
And the disabled.
Yes.
And nobody is listening. Everyone refuses to listen. And if you try and say anything, you're shot down and told not to complain.
Sorry, David. I'm slightly coming into this conversation halfway through. Who's shutting you down and telling you not to complain?
Well, central government and local governments.
Right. Well, what are you complaining about? Who have you complained to, and what are you complaining about?
Well, the complaint is to do with the standard. It's not the care workers, but it's the overall system.
Yes.
Of the system, and the complaints are simply not listened to. It's just not listened to.
But what are the complaints?
Well, let's take some examples.
Yes, please.
You phone up an office and say, please, we've got transport coming, and I have to have my care worker here by no later than a certain time, and that many times is often forgotten or just ignored.
And that's happened to you, has it, David?
Oh, yes.
It must be very frustrating.
Pardon?
It must be very frustrating.
More than frustrating, it unfortunately reverberates on me, and I suffer with a very serious or acute, rare neurological problem, and it gives me minuscule strokes.
Oh dear, that sounds horrific. So your problem is you're still at home, are you, David? And your carers come and visit you 3-4 times a day?
4 times a day.
4 times a day. And what kind of stuff do they help you with?
Well, going to the toilet, washing, dressing, preparing my food, helping me to go to bed.
Yeah. So you're dependent on these people.
Absolutely, they are a lifeline.
We were talking about this yesterday, David, about how care for the elderly in the 3 counties has been cut significantly over the money spent on it, has been cut significantly over the last 10 years. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's gone down vertically.
Have you got anyone else that helps you, David?
Well, yes, I've got very good friends.
Yeah.
But I can't take advantage of their goodness and kindness.
Well, I hear you, David. Having dealt with care packages for a relative at home, I know how frustrating and how little time gets given to people who need it. And well, I wish you the very best of luck, David.
Thank you.
We often have a lady on the show. We had her on yesterday called Colette McKeveney, who is with Age Concern.
That's Luton Age Concern, yes.
Yeah. Would you like? Have you spoken to them?
Yes, but you just get a total negative response.
From Age Concern?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
I'm sure Colette McKeveney would be horrified to hear that. I'm going to give her a ring for you. Have we got permission to pass on your details?
Well, yes, they know my details anyway.
Oh. Are you a troublemaker, David?
Pardon?
Are you a troublemaker?
No, I'm not. I'm certainly not.
You sure?
No, I'm not.
David?
I want a just and fair deal.
Okay, but it's not Age Concern's fault, is it, about the care package?
No, it's not. And there's nothing to do with them.
I tell you what, listen, would you mind, because Colette McKeveney is I like to think of a friend of the show, and she's a good egg. Would you mind if Catherine gave Colette McKeveney your details, and maybe she could give you a little call, or someone who she works with? Just to see if there's anything that they could do to make things a little bit easier.
No, there's nothing they can do. Nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, David. Well, in that case, we won't pass your details on.
Thank you for the offer.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, it's fine. The offer was there, and the offer was rejected, which is entirely his right to do so.
Well, and also he's got his marbles. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
But the offer's still open.
David, thank you very much. 08459 455 555. Now, Thameslink should be back up to a full service this morning. Well, we heard already that actually it probably won't be a full service. There's going to be a few bits and pieces dragging on as they need to check some of their trains. It's a week after flooding stopped trains running through a tunnel in Clerkenwell. Not their fault. It's Thames Water's fault. Thames Water's fault. And the good news doesn't stop there, particularly if you've been unhappy about the frequency of delays and cancellations since Govia took over. A new compensation scheme is being brought in this weekend. The operator says it'll mean more generous refunds. Well, Anne Main is Conservative MP for St Albans and joins me now. And it sounds like good news. The refunds will be more generous than they have been.
Well, it's a glimmer of hope in a very dark period, I think, is more than me being ecstatic about it all. And I do hope that the compensation is delivered properly and on time, because I have had a series of complaints about the whole thing. And one of the things is haven't had my compensation tickets for people who are entitled to have them for season ticket holders for 5 months. So let's just hope. It's welcome. It's welcome. I can't say I'm sounding grateful.
You sound very dubious, Anne.
It's welcome. I mean, it was one of the things I raised on the meeting with the 20th and the Secretary of State and Charles Horton, who was the Chief Exec. You know, I said there's all sorts of issues to do with reliability, short-form trains and so on, but the absolute thorn in everyone's side is the levels of compensation being reduced compared with what they had under the previous package with First Capital Connect. So to see you're getting not only a worse service but a worse level of compensation, that really was galling. So I'm pleased that they have recognised that and at least brought the compensation package back to where it was under First Capital Connect. So as I said, it's not a huge victory, but it's a little one.
So it was because Govia have only been in control, is it since September of last year?
Yes.
And so they changed the refund package before. They made it worse, did they?
That's right.
Why did they do that? That does seem a little bit mean-spirited.
Well, I don't know why a lot of the things have got worse, and they didn't actually answer why the Chief Exec didn't say that. And I am seeing him again on the 4th of this month with Claire Perry, who's the Minister for Transport, because we've got to keep the pressure off on this. And I'm pleased they've recognised giving a better package is good, but it's not better than they had before in terms of under FCC. I don't know why they reduced it. I had so many complaints. It wasn't one I pursued at the time. I just wanted it reinstated, and it is.
We've talked about Thameslink and Govia a lot on here since they took over. Lots of people saying the service has got significantly worse. Their justification is it's going to get better, but they need to train new drivers, and it takes a substantial amount of time to train new drivers. Do you buy that?
Well, that's factually correct, but they inherited the system of being short of drivers under First Capital Connect. They had exactly the same issues to do with that. They said they had a worse. This was the explanation given at the meeting. They had a worse level of sickness and sort of people going off sick than they anticipated, and that they're managing that now and working through it. So I don't know what was happening before, but obviously there was some issue there. And they said they had people leave, which they weren't expecting. So they inherited a level of drivers they thought they were going to maintain, but then people left. I don't know is the answer, but what I do know is that when people were having problems under the previous franchise, at least they had a better level of communication under their app and their website to know that there were going to be issues, and they didn't turn up at stations to just hang around and not know what was going on. And he did recognise that. So I can't dispute the fact they did have less drivers, or fewer drivers, than they anticipated. But why was their communication with the public so poor? I have to say, and I'm going to encourage this over the radio with you, Yep. They are having meet the manager sessions, And the next Meet the Manager session should be very interesting. It's going to be at Farringdon, which, of course, where the flooding's been.
Oh, brilliant.
On the 5th of February, between 7:30 and 9:30 in the morning. So I would urge people to go along and give their complaints, because I'm keeping a log of all the complaints, and they are legion, and meet with the team and give their views. And we will be having one at St Albans, but I haven't been given a date for that yet. But this communication seems to be part of it. Numerous people have said, OK, I accept issues with drivers, etc., but why can't you let me know about it? Under the previous franchise, we used to have a better communication. And he promises me there will be improvements in the communication. And the other thing, people have said staff are rude and unhelpful. Now, I'm only repeating what I'm reading from the emails, because I'm not there to say on the time, but it's been a recurrent theme. And so now he said they're going to have iPads made available to forward-facing staff. For you and me, that's the people we might talk to, I suppose, to keep them better informed and allow them to give better advice. Because people have said, I'm asking people what's going on, I'm asking members of the staff, and I just get, dunno, mate.
Can I put a suggestion to you, Anne?
Yes.
Are you aware of Roger Perkins from Govia?
Yes.
Why don't you, Roger, me and Catherine all go out for a coffee and have a chat? Would you be up for that?
I'm happy to be up for that.
Who's buying? Hang on, who's buying?
Do you know what? I'll dip my hands in my pocket. I've got a free one coming on my Costa card.
Excellent. Oh, good. Just for you then.
Yeah, I'll be buying. Roger's not here to say whether he'll be up for that or not. But I suggest that we all go out for coffee. Catherine and I will bring a microphone and we have a chat. And you can put your worries to him, and he can put his defences to you. Would you be up for that, Anne?
I am certainly up for that. And can I just put in about the flooding which you started with?
Oh yeah, go on.
There is, of course, a squabble between whether it's Network Rail's fault because this problem was identified in 2007, surface water drainage, having difficulty getting away due to clearance of pipes. And, of course, now we're having the tit-tat between the pair of them, whether it's Thames Water's lack of maintenance or Network Rail's lack of maintenance. So can they get together? Can you get them together and sort that out?
I'm not buying them a coffee.
Another coffee.
And listen, it's nice to talk to you. We will sort that out. And if I've put you on the spot, you can always back out of it. And I won't. I won't think badly of you at all. But I think that would be a good thing to do. We get her and Roger together.
Yeah, and Roger's usually quite forthcoming. I don't see why he wouldn't.
No, OK, excellent stuff. Anne Main, Conservative MP for St Albans. Thank you very much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A6 between Bedford and between Rishton is still partially blocked because of some lorries that have got stuck in the ice and snow in the road, and that's causing delays now from the A45 Chowns Mill. On the A421 Great Barford bypass at Roxton, there are queues between and around the Black Cat roundabout, and it's also reported to be quite icy and snowy around there too. On the motorways, the M11 northbound, there are still 3-mile queues on the approach to Junction 8 for Stansted Airport, and because of the snow and ice in the road, the exit slip road's closed. There is still access to the airport via the roundabout though. The A1M southbound's very slow around Junction 7 for Stevenage, and looking at the speed sensors on the M1 southbound, it's looking quite busy around Junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road to Junction 9 for Redbourne. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 8:17. It's Friday the 30th of January. I'm Ian Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are returning to normal today following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon, and workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
It's freezing in here. Are you not cold? You're never cold.
A, it's not, and B, no. Whenever I go into a studio, this hasn't got a thermostat, but I always put it onto the coldest it can be. It keeps me alert.
Oh, it's horrible in here. It's like a butcher's fridge.
Oh, go away then! Oh. Sorry, that was unnecessary. It's been a stressful week.
That came from somewhere, didn't it?
Shouldn't have. That belongs indoors. Yeah. What's on your show this morning?
Coming up, well, talking of butchers' fridges, from 9 this morning, I'm going to be asking, is it time we banned the slaughter of animals that haven't been stunned? You've seen this on the front pages of... No,
I missed this one.
It's on the front page of the Times today. The number of animals in the UK being killed in abattoirs without being stunned first has increased by 60% in the last year. Traditional Islamic and Jewish slaughter methods dictate animals must be conscious when their throats are cut. But this can mean that cattle take as long as 2 minutes to die.
Gulp.
The British Veterinary Association says cutting animals' throats without stunning them first unnecessarily compromises animal welfare at the time of death, and they want it banned in the UK. They're gathering support for this too. An online petition to ban non-stun slaughter has now received more than 100,000 signatures online. But will you be adding your signature to that list? From 9 this morning, I want your reaction to this. Is it time we banned the slaughter of animals that haven't been stunned? 08459 455 555. That's my number.
Three Counties Sport.
Tonight from 7, Watford are away to Bournemouth.
And you can't have much better preparation than scoring 7 in your last game, can you?
And it's a goal! It's another goal for Odion Igalo!
Especially after going 2-0 down to the league's bottom club.
Stephen Davis doubles Blackpool's lead.
That was quite a turnaround in the second half.
But that was Blackpool, and Bournemouth are a much better side. Top of the table, so this is going to be a lot tougher.
One of the most important months in Championship is January.
And you can hear how the Hornets get on in Three Counties Sport.
Tonight from 7 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ah, dearie me. Well, kind of. It's been a very odd show. The Friday shows are degenerating. And I mean
in
that
a good way.
As a positive, definitely. They're becoming completely ramshackle, very random, and I enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
Well done for herding all of those guests, Kelly. You were guest herder and you did a brilliant job.
Thanks, ma'am.
You're welcome, man. Do you smell of dog a bit now?
No, I've washed a bit.
I'm not a fan of dogs, but those dogs were beautiful, weren't they?
They were cute. I've done a little video in slow motion. It's on Facebook.
Oh, that's romantic.
Thanks.
They were very well-behaved dogs.
Although I don't know if Harvey would agree with that.
I couldn't see what was going on under the desk.
He was scared.
The dog kept sniffing his doodahs.
That's what dogs do.
Got a pic of that.
No, you haven't.
I have. Oh, no,
Thank you very much indeed. Now, we'll take your calls in a bit on to slightly more serious things, while those two cackle themselves to death next door. Black and Asian people are disproportionately more likely to be stopped and searched by police. That's according to a report released a couple of years ago by the Equality and Human Rights Commission. The government brought in new guidelines for officers as a result and is now keen to make sure people know their rights if and when it happens to them. Well, Tahir Ghulam Hussain is a community engagement coordinator of the charity Stop Watch, who let people know what their rights are. Morning, Tahir.
Good morning.
Now, we know that black men are disproportionately stopped and searched. Do we know why?
Well, there may be lots of reasons, and there's lots of academic research on it. But the key, I mean, there's a lot of opinions on this.
For example, what's your opinion on it?
We don't have a fixed opinion on this, on the question of why. What we can say is that there are suggestions that there's racial profiling.
Yeah.
There are ideas that black men are more of a threat, sometimes it's suggested. So instead of just talking to them, a search is proceeded to. So there's a perception on the part of officers. In addition, there's this idea that black people carry drugs, and drugs is a major driving force in stop and search. So nationally, for the financial year 2012 to 13, government statistics say that over half of stop and searches were for drugs.
But But you're not arguing with stopping people for drugs. That's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
No, we're not. We're not suggesting it is or it isn't. What we're saying is that it's the idea that that's the same thing as violence, offensive weapons, firearms, which is much less. Stop and search for that is much less. I can give you some stats for Bedfordshire if you want.
Yeah, go on.
So, for the financial year 2012 to 13, which is official government statistics, under PACE and other legislation, which is most stop and search, there was over 8,000 stop and searches. Only 9% led to an arrest. So
but still good that we got that 9%. I mean, there is an argument if we hadn't stopped and searched, then 9% might have got off scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of academic research suggests, and a lot of different research from our end suggests that it isn't an effective disruptor.
It got 9% of people.
Crime. So, there's some research that says that 0.02% of disruptible crime is disrupted by stop and search, if any.
I have no idea what that means, but we got 9% of people in that. That's got to be good, hasn't it?
So, I mean, it may be argued, but to go further, in terms of disproportionality...
But hang on, but if you got 9% people through stop and search, it's not a great hit rate, but it's better than nothing, isn't it?
I think the key thing about that, and I think with stop and search, leading to an arrest, is what was the arrest for? Was it linked to the reason for the search? We don't know.
It doesn't matter if that stop and search resulted in an arrest, then obviously that person was a dodgepot and they deserve to be arrested, didn't they? And that's got to be a good thing.
We don't at the moment have statistics for how many of those arrests resulted in a criminal justice outcome, i.e. the courts upholding a conviction.
So the figures are meaningless then.
The interesting thing about arrests is that a lot of arrests, it's suspected, arise out of someone being upset about the nature of the stop and search. So, and we don't have statistics for that. And part of the best use of stop and search scheme, which has been introduced by the Home Secretary, is to try and find out whether the outcome, the arrest itself, was linked to the actual reason that the officer searched. Because if the reason that an officer searched was for drugs, say, for knives, sorry, and then the actual outcome was that they actually found nothing, but they arrested them because they thought that they were being uncivil, and they found an offence to match that. That would concern us.
What is wrong with a copper? If a copper stops and searches you, what's wrong with just going, all right then, this is frustrating, this will stop me for 20 minutes, but go on then.
Sure.
What's wrong with that?
Understand. It's a highly invasive thing, so just to suggest to you the law's position on it...
Well, no, I'm just asking, what's wrong with Tahir, what's wrong with being stopped and searched?
Well, yeah, so I'll tell you the law's position on it in terms of what's wrong.
I don't really know...
If you don't have a reason to stop and search someone,
and
you don't have grounds, the stop and search is unlawful, and it's a criminal offence. And what that means is that you've actually assaulted someone and you falsely imprisoned them. Those are serious things. We take those seriously. And
if a copper says, like, I'm going to stop you now, sir, I want to search you, go, yeah, all right. I've got nothing to hide. I'm not carrying any drugs or any weapons. It's a pain in the bum, but go on then.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I mean, what I'm saying is that it can be a highly invasive procedure because you can go all the way to a strip search. So someone can take...
Well, Tahir, come on, mate. I'm not letting you have that one. That's a yellow card. They're not how many of these stop and searches are strip searches? They're not going to do that outside a nightclub, are they? They want you to empty out your pockets. Where have you been? Where are you going? All right, I'll tell you.
What we'd say to you is that there are cases of people being taken into the back of police vans and being strip searched.
Yeah, but Tahir, we're not talking about that, mate. We're talking about someone coming out of a nightclub, someone walking down the street, the cops pull over and say, right, where have you been? Where are you going? Let's have a look in your pockets.
Well, what we're talking about is the power of stop and search, and that covers a whole range of issues. But what I am going to say to you is this, that disorder in Britain and the riots, and part of why the Home Secretary has been concerned, is that the riots opened up a debate about this issue. And because a lot of research by the Riots and Communities Victims Panel said that stop and search was a major factor as to why people were upset. This was people who had no criminal record and who were still upset about policing. And I'll just give you a quote from the Home Secretary herself.
Very, very quickly, if you can,
The Home Secretary said, it's a waste of police time, it's unfair, especially to young black men, when stop and search is misapplied. It's bad for public confidence in the police.
OK, Tahir, listen, I'm going to end it there. Tahir Ghulam Hussain is Community Engagement Coordinator of the charity Stopwatch. Steve's in Hitchin. Morning, Steve.
Morning, Ian. I'm pretty sure that police have got racial profiling statistics, but I don't think they've got the bottle to actually produce it and publish it. If, for argument's sake, 80% of white people that are stopped turn out to be criminals, then they should target white people more. If people from Scotland are, or whatever race, colour, whatever it is, they should do the profiling and clamp down heavily on it and publish the reasons why. Not pussyfoot around and just say, oh, it's random, because then certain racial people start moaning that they're picked on without any facts produced.
Steve, thank you for your call.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are queues on the A6 in both directions between Chansmill and Bedford because of some lorries that have got stuck in the snow at Sharnbrook. In High Wycombe on the A40 West Wycombe Road, it's very slow because it's been partially blocked by a breakdown just after Chapel Lane. And coming into Hitchin on the A505 Moormead Hill, there are long delays on all the approaches actually around to Purton Road and Rotten Road West, according to Barry, who called in to say it's very slow around there by the Highlander pub. And the A602 in Stevenage, that is very slow in both directions between the A1M Junction 8 and Whitehall Road through the roadworks. On the motorways, there are still 3 mile queues approaching Junction 8 for Stansted Airport because of the snow and ice there that's making cars get stuck in it. And on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very busy around Junction 16 for the M40. On the trains, Thameslink services are back to normal, running a regular service again. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. St Albans MP Anne Main is calling for an end to squabbling between Network Rail and Thames Water over delays on Thameslink trains. Services from Bedford and Luton are returning to normal today following the week-long disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday afternoon, and workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Watford travel to Championship leaders Bournemouth tonight. Slavisa Jokanovic's Hornets are just 4 points behind the South Coast side.
They know exactly what they must do. It's independent if somebody play at the beginning. They normally don't change so much, but if they make some change, they have clear plan what they're gonna do. If we are really ready for be solidarity in the game, we can win.
And there's full commentary on Watford at Bournemouth on tonight's Three Counties Sport from 7. Tomorrow, Milton Keynes Dons go to Crewe in League One with the Dele Alli transfer saga still going on. Newcastle are favourites to sign him, but Aston Villa are reportedly making an 11th-hour bid. In League 2, leaders Wycombe host Portsmouth, Luton hosts Cambridge. Hatters manager John Still is waiting for news on former England striker Andy Johnson.
We're really waiting for Andrew to come to us. He's the one that has to decide if he wants to play. And it isn't about wanting to play, it's about wanting to play with an energy, a drive, an enthusiasm to help get this club promoted. And Andrew, on his comeback, he said at the moment he wasn't sure that playing was what he wanted to do.
And Stevenage are at home to Oxford, with manager Graham Westley focusing on the state of the pitch.
The pitch has been difficult. That's there for all to see, and anyone who knows our pitch over the years knows that once that water gets in, it's very difficult to see it drain and see it improve. So it's bound to be difficult, I think, for the remainder of the season. And the beauty of that is that we know that surface. We know how to play it. We know how it works. We know the areas of the pitch to play.
England's cricketers need 201 to beat India in Perth and qualify to face Australia in the Tri-Series final. A short while ago, they were 35 for 1 from 10 overs. Earlier, India were all out for 200 with 3 wickets for Watford's Steve Finn. And at the Australian Open tennis, number 1 seed Novak Djokovic faces defending champion Stan Wawrinka this morning for the right to meet Andy Murray in Sunday's final. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I was a little bit disappointed at Mr. Agullah Hussain from the stopwatch thing, because there is, and I've got a tweet here. Ian, you have no idea about stop and search as a white man. You've been very blazy about it because of your privilege. I think Jason means blasé. There is a good argument for what is being said about, that is it perhaps racist that more black people and Asian people are being stopped and searched than white people. But that fella didn't have it. That fella didn't have that argument. And I'm sorry, if you're going to come on, I'm going to have to challenge you a bit to get to the meat. And he wasn't giving me the meat. He proffered the 2 veg, but there was no meat. And I thought his argument was quite poor. If you think you can do better, 08459 455 555. I put this to you, and I'm not saying this as though it's necessarily my point of view. OK? Bear that in mind. What's wrong with stop and search? Let me put that out there. 08459 455 555.
We've got a texter on this, unfortunately no name. It says, if you get stopped over and over again, of course you're going to get angry.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it. Give us a shout. We've also got this through from Pat in Houghton Regis. People moan about...
Give us a shout?
Yeah. Whisper, shout.
OK. Without the whisper, it just sounds...
I say give me a shout, though.
I know you do, and
That's the way I speak.
we need to talk about that. You speak in too young a lingo for a woman of your
What?
rapidly advancing
I'm younger than you.
age. Well,
You say wowzers, so...
yeah, exactly.
Where's your argument?
I'm ironic and postmodern.
Fergus, listen. Shh.
Gaz?
Stop it.
Sorry?
Stop it.
I got beef with Boyle.
Boyle's beef.
Leave my beef.
Well, it's back to that picture.
People moan about not seeing the police. Shut up. People moan about... This is a serious point from Pat in Houghton.
Sorry, Pat.
Can everyone pay attention?
Yes, Pat.
Stop laughing.
08459
Will you stop
455
making him laugh?
555.
Is laughing the same as laugh?
Oh, shut up. This
Shut
is getting,
up.
This is getting... This is getting tribunal
I'm
territory.
confused.
Yeah?
I'm confused.
.com.
Other price comparison sites are available.
Kelly, calm down.
Calm down.
I'm not Scouse.
Calm down.
I'm not Scouse.
Hey, calm down.
I'm not Scouse.
I'm
Oh,
not-
calm down.
Just do the text from Pat. Come on, guys. Otherwise, I'm going to rip my clothes off and run around naked.
Okay, text from Pat.
Oh.
People moan about not seeing the police as much as they would like on our streets, and then when they try to do their job, some communities rise up in an attempt to get them sacked, suspended, or otherwise. If you have nothing to hide, you should be prepared to be searched in a time where guns and knives are carried around more in some cultures than others.
But then, as Jason says, you've got no idea about stop and search as a white man. And I have been... I got pulled off by a police officer once when we were driving along a road. It was in Kentish Town.
Okay, so asking for it.
Well, we were driving and we got pulled over. And they had a good look in the car. Not good enough.
I've been pulled over a few times as well.
And I think I've been stopped and searched in the street once.
Whereas I've never been stopped or searched, despite my best efforts.
I've
now
been
who's not taking it seriously?
properly frisked several times.
Oh, I've been frisked. That doesn't count, does it?
You know you can ask Justin to stop doing that. That is not a he is not security here.
Oh.
Whatever he says.
Oh, okay.
But back to the serious point.
Yeah. No phone calls, by the way, guys. What's your beef?
Oh, I had one. She doesn't want to come on. Her
Well,
name's Susan.
That's not a phone call, then.
She says that she saw the explosion at 4:30 this morning.
Oh, we're
in
back
Bedford.
to... Well, what... Oh,
Hardington Road, she saw it. It was like fork lightning.
fork lightning!
So that's that.
So that made you laugh, is it, Ian? Is it?
Done a little bit of production now.
Did you?
A fork lightning! It's like the film Grease.
Yeah, I get it.
And the song Fork Lightning from Fork. Anyway, we've got literally no calls for the next 24 minutes.
I've got someone I can ring. I'll do it now.
Yeah, is it your daughter? Is it Littleton? Get Littleton on.
Get Lillian. Hello.
She's busy.
Just dialing the number. Ends in 069. That's you. Shh. You're getting a call.
That's you. You could be the lucky winner of £1 million. £1 million.
You don't know what this is. This could be a very serious phone call.
I bet it's not.
It is, actually.
Oh.
Oh.
Hello, Amanda. Oh, it's Amanda. Hello, it's Catherine here from BBC Three Counties. Hello. You sound very distant. Have you got a landline I could ring you on, or are you on a... Hang on. Here we go. Yep. Yep. OK, I'll give you a ring right back. Thank you.
You said she sounded...
Fascinating. Hope you're listening.
You said she sounded distant. You've got massive echo on your voice. Why are you phoning her from down a hole?
Kath, get out the hole. Do you need a hand? Kath, do you need a hand? Shall I get you out?
Hi, I'm going to put you through now, Amanda. Thank you. It's Amanda on line 1.
Oh, thanks very much. Morning, Amanda.
Morning, Ian.
You could... Can you talk for 23 minutes?
I could possibly talk for hours and hours and hours.
Oh, baby, I love you. I love you, Amanda.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much for putting me on.
Now, you know what Amanda's here for? She's the lady from Twitter that nice vicar that used to be in the Communards recommended.
Oh, Amanda, yes. You were tweeting... tell us what you were tweeting yesterday.
17 years ago, I was homeless. I was living on the streets and I was sleeping rough outside the Piccadilly Theatre near Leicester Square.
Oh, blimey.
Can
I ask, why did you choose there? Did you just happen to be there, or that's where you ended up?
I ended up in London. I ended up with nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
I had nobody, and I didn't know where to go or what to do, and so I was basically wandering around, shivering under my coat, and there were two homeless guys who basically took me under their wing, and they had been sleeping rough on the streets for a long time, and they said to me, because I was only young, I was 16, they were like, you can't sleep in certain places because you'll get attacked.
Yeah.
And they basically let me, because there was a group of about 3 of us, and we all slept in the same place. And they basically took me under their wing, and they really... They were messed up. They had mental health problems. They were ill. They were, and it was a horrible situation. I'm not going to romanticize it.
No, of course not.
It was a horrible situation, but they did try and look out for me, because they kind of felt like a brotherly love for me.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that.
And they were significantly older than you, were they?
Yeah, they were in their late 30s and 40s. I mean, they were really kind to me. They gave me a sleeping bag, because I didn't even have that, They gave me a sleeping bag, and they basically kind of taught me how to survive.
Yeah.
So basically, we slept in and around there, and... like I say, it was a horrible situation. But they, so I slept around there, and they helped me out. And unfortunately, I was reduced to begging for money to buy food.
Yeah.
And it's and again, I can't stress this enough. Nobody does this out of choice.
The first time that you realised you were going to have to beg, how did you feel?
Horrible. It was shameful.
Yeah.
It was so shameful, because I'm quite, I didn't have a drug problem. I wasn't a drinker. This isn't, wasn't me being... It was just a horrible situation.
Without giving away anything you don't want to give away, and if I ask something, Amanda, that is inappropriate, tell me to jog on. As a 16-year-old girl, how did it all go so wrong?
I've suffered from depression for years, and I suffer, and I was actually from Burnley originally, in Lancashire. There was an incident that happened when I was 15 with an ex that I'd rather not.
No, of course, yeah. But you just felt you couldn't stay there any longer.
I couldn't stay there
you had to
any
get
longer.
away.
And
Okay.
I thought I had somewhere to stay in London, and when I got there, I didn't. And so I was just like, oh, okay. But I didn't feel like I could go back home, because, I was running away from this situation that was horrific. And it was,
So you ended up in homeless in London. You ended up begging. You got these two fellas who have got their own issues, let's say, who kind of took you under their wing. How long did that last for?
I was there about 3 months. So, it was actually 17 years ago, around now. It's in January, February.
Oh, man, so freezing as well.
Oh, yeah. So cold.
How did you... Okay, well, so you're there for 3 months. How did you get out of it?
Well, I was sleeping outside the Piccadilly Theatre, and this couple passed me by, and they stopped and talked to me, because they couldn't understand why I was there, because I didn't look like I had a drug problem, because even though I was homeless, and back then in London, you could still go into a train station and have a shower, because I know at Victoria you could do it, and so that's what I did. So I always tried to keep myself clean, so they couldn't understand why I was there, because I didn't look like a drug addict. I was clean, I was, polite, and I didn't look like your typical homeless person, because I still wanted to try and keep some dignity, because I still believed I could get off the streets, and I just didn't want to be there, obviously. But so they stopped and they talked to me, and they were asking me questions, asking me why I was there, and then they did the most amazing thing. They said to me, please, can you come with us and come and stay with us?
Gosh.
They didn't know me from Adam. All they had to go on was what I had told them, and they asked me if they could please give me a roof over my head and let me stay there and let them help me. They wanted to help me get off back on my feet.
Now, you said they didn't know you from Adam and you could have been a knife-wielding maniac. Well, it could have gone the other way. Were you not nervous? Because they could have, they could have...
They could have done, yeah.
Nutters themselves.
Again, without going into details, I had bad experiences with other people.
Yeah.
But when you've got nothing,
Desperate.
You're desperate. And, this is an opportunity that you kind of... When you're always on guard, you kind of pick up on things where people seem nice.
Amanda, listen, I've got to do a little bit of business and the travel and stuff. Are you okay to stick around for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Because I'm desperate. I know that there is a reason why you're doing this, and I'm desperate to find the end of the story. This is incredible. Well remembered, Catherine. We were all having a little bit of Twitter banter yesterday with Amanda. Right, stay there, Amanda. We'll come back to you in a second. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are still 3-mile queues on the M11 northbound approaching Junction 8 for Stansted Airport because of the ice and snow there, and it's closed the exit slip road there to Stansted Airport, but you can still get into Stansted Airport through the roundabout, but it is very, very busy in the area. Also very busy on the A120 westbound from Stansted Airport to the M11 Junction 8. On the A1M northbound, it's looking very slow on the speed sensors at Junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City, and looking at the A6 in both directions, there are still long queues with it being partially blocked between Bedford Road at Rushden and Shakespeare Road at Bedford. Those queues are reaching Chalmers Mill. On the A1 southbound, there are queues between the Kimbolton turnoff and the Black Cat roundabout, and in Stevenage on the A602, that's looking very busy in both directions between the A1M Junction 8 and Whitehall Road because of the roadworks there. On the trains, Thameslink services are back to normal again after the problems at Farringdon earlier this week, but the Metropolitan line has minor delays between Watford and Harrow on the Hill. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Samantha. 8:45, it's Friday the 30th of January. I'm Ian Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Thameslink services from Bedford and Luton are returning to normal today following the disruption caused by flooding in a tunnel in central London. 2 more teenagers have been arrested in Milton Keynes following the stabbing of a boy in Bletchley on Tuesday, and workshops telling people about their rights if they're stopped and searched by the police have been launched in Luton. We'll get the latest weather now from Elena.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ian, good morning. The rest of the day looks to be mainly dry, 1 or 2 wintry showers pushing across. We've got some cloud around at the moment, but that will thin and break. There'll be some brightness, some sunshine, but a cold feel to the day and a brisk northwesterly wind. Highs of 5 Celsius will feel closer to freezing given the wind chill. A few clear spells around tonight, and that will allow temperatures to drop back down to freezing. Could see perhaps a few icy stretches on untreated surfaces, and then later in the night looks like we'll see some wintry showers pushing their way across. So once again, it's a mixture of sleet and rain, but also a little bit of snow, especially over higher ground, although accumulations are not expected to amount to very much. For tomorrow, there'll be some wintry showers for a time through the morning. It looks like most of those will push through, so there'll be a little bit more in the way of sunshine through the afternoon, but we pick up a strong northerly wind tomorrow. It's going to feel bitterly cold. Highs of 4 or 5 Celsius will feel like sub-zero given the wind chill. And more of the same on Sunday, mainly dry, some brightness, some sunshine, but bitterly cold in the wind. Just a small chance that we could see a few snow showers later on Sunday and into Monday.
Across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is Ian Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right. So, just remind us, Catherine, we're talking to Amanda. Remind us how we met. Amanda, how did we get in touch with her?
We got copied into a tweet. It was by a chap called Anthony Lingham.
Yep.
He was looking at a conversation between Amanda and the Reverend Richard Coles, who's the chap who is now a vicar and used to be in the Communards.
Yeah, he does stuff on Radio 4. We like him.
He's really entertaining. So I follow him, and but also Anthony Lingham follows us. So he kind of joined us up.
We got in touch. So this,
I saw Amanda was looking for this couple.
Yeah. So just the story, Amanda, so far is you're homeless. You've been homeless for 3 months. You're 16 years old. You're sleeping outside the Piccadilly Theatre in London, and a couple come up to you and listen to your story and invite you back home with them.
Yes. And, yeah, they basically opened their home to me, and I swear I've never forgotten their kindness.
So you just went home with them that night? You got all jumped on a train and went back to their house?
Yeah, they lived in Abbots Langley near Balmoral Road 17 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still live there. Unfortunately, I wish I could remember their name, but obviously, at that time, there's so much going on. I'm lucky I can remember my own name.
Yeah.
I lost touch with them because basically what happened was they tried to help me with my CV. They basically fed me, gave me a roof over my head, offered me encouragement. They were amazing. The level of kindness, it stuck with me so much. I've tried so hard. So even though I can't remember their names, to at least honour them and try and help other people like they do, because they were just amazing.
Right, let's try and work out some bits and pieces. Let's try it so we can piece it. So they lived in Abbots Langley, near, was it Balmoral Road, did you say?
Yes.
How long did you stay with them for?
About 2-3 weeks,
okay.
I think it was.
And
it might have been longer. I mean, my time frames aren't the best at that time, like I say, obviously.
Well, no, it sounds like a very confusing, emotional time. It was 17 years ago. Sort of what age were they?
I think they were in their mid-30s.
Right.
Yeah, they were in their mid-30s. It was a lovely couple. They both worked in London. They had jobs in London during the week.
Any idea what they did? Do you remember what they did?
No, it was something in business.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not asking this to catch you out. And,
no, I know.
It's just I'm trying to...
Yeah, because he did show me his CV, and I'm just... It's funny, isn't it, how little things can trigger other little things. He did show me his CV so he could teach me how to set out mine, and I know he did. It was a lot of business stuff. It was. He was like he had managerial roles, and so he was very educated.
And you don't remember their first names at all?
I don't remember their names at all, and it's such an insult to them.
No. I'm sure they wouldn't say it.
I'm wondering, and this is probably what a lot of people are wondering, were they sort of Christians? Were they from a particular church, do you think?
I don't think they went to church. I don't remember. I mean, they never mentioned anything religious to me. They just wanted to help me.
Were they black? Were they white?
They were white.
You remember that bit? Okay, we've got that. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything about their house that you remember? Maybe like a knick-knack or something that you that kind of caught your attention when you was in there, or how the bedroom was decorated?
It was a lovely 2-bedroom flat. They had it. It was all decorated in neutral tones, and the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in.
Okay.
It was a ground floor flat in like a masonette type place.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a big block of flats. It was a nice yellow brick, like a new build, and it was in Abbots Langley. And I think you had to go down like a little ginnel to get there. Like a little side back street thing, but and there was a space outside for a car, if I remember right.
Whereabouts are you based now, Amanda?
I'm in London. I'm in Newington Green now.
Oh, it's nice there, isn't it?
It is. I've lived here 10 years, and it's changed a lot since I've lived here. So, yeah.
And your life's moved on quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a 13-year-old son now.
Hey, fantastic.
And he's lovely. He's a pain in the neck.
Yeah, of course.
It made me laugh earlier today when you were talking about you being 13 and naughty, and Vince was like, see, it wasn't just me.
Good for him, and I encourage carry on being naughty, young man. You could end up...
School. You cannot influence him.
He's out of your grip.
And so why do you want to... So basically, your life is a lot more settled now, and you're happy.
I am happy. I've got great friends. I mean, I've got a job that I love, and they've never been far from my mind. And for years, I've always thought maybe they just didn't want to be found. Maybe they just wanted to, and especially when I was younger, I felt a little ashamed because I kind of just disappeared off into Siesta as far as they were concerned, because I managed to get home, and
you just went one day and didn't say anything.
I just went one day and I managed to get home. I got the police helped me get home, and a long, complicated story. And I never really got a chance to get back in touch with them, and I felt ashamed at the time because it was just like they'd done so much for me, and I felt like I'd insulted them. But obviously, as I've got older, and I just remember how much they influenced me, how much kindness they showed me, and it's that kind of thing that has always driven me to kind of be help other people to try, and I just want them to know how much their kindness has affected
Amanda,
me.
do you ever get up this way at all?
Not all the time. Sometimes, yeah. It's been a while since, I think it's been a couple of years since.
Because I'm kind of thinking, and this, if this is inappropriate, then this is inappropriate, that you, me and Catherine go for a drive round there one day and see if you recognise anything.
Yeah.
Would you be up for that?
Yeah,
And I'm putting you on the spot now, so if you don't think this is a legally binding contract, but I'm just kind of thinking, if me and Catherine picked you up from somewhere, a train station or something, and we went for a little drive round there, just something might trigger your mind, your memory or something.
That would be lovely. I mean, I would just love to say thank you to them, because they were the best people, and, you know, they gave me so much faith in humanity, and I was so low, and they helped me so much, and everything since then, that's what's kept me going, is the fact that there are good people out there. It is worth being kind. That kindness is amazing, and it's just made such a difference. It was 3 weeks out of my life that they touched, but it was such a massive difference that they made.
Okay, we'll find them. I think we're going to find them. What we'll do is we're going to put this in the podcast as well. So this means that different people will get to hear it. And and Catherine and I will speak to you at some point, either today or next week.
Yeah.
And we'll find out a time, and we'll go for a little drive, and maybe knock on a couple of doors or something.
You know, have a think about it, because I know it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to, you can DM me on Twitter, whatever. We'll sort something out, Amanda. All right.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, wonderful.
Amanda,
thank you so much for your help.
No, it's a pleasure, and well done you for standing up and acknowledging what they did.
What kind of person couldn't? I mean, it's just phenomenal what they did. It's just phenomenal. They were just amazing, and it's so important that they know that I appreciate it so much.
Hopefully we'll get to meet each other soon, Amanda. Good luck with your boy, and
thank you.
And we'll have a good weekend, and we'll speak soon.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow, there's an amazing story, huh? Can you imagine...
Thank you, Anthony Lingham.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony, for that. Can you imagine, you know, a couple in their 30s seeing a homeless person and having a chat and going, yeah, OK, we buy that story. Do you want to come with us for a few weeks and we'll feed you and wash you and stuff?
Was I the only one who thought they must be evangelical Christians?
That's what I was expecting, that she would be, you know, having to sit for Bible classes.
Not the case at all.
Well, if she's up for it, and again, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, and it's, you know, you kind of say yes when you're asked stuff on the radio, but I can see us driving around that area and maybe knocking on a few doors and seeing if anybody knows anything. And if you do know anything, and maybe you don't want to come on the air for whatever reason,
just make yourself known.
Ian.lee, IAIN.LEE at bbc.co.uk, or Catherine.boyle at bbc.co.uk.
Do you know something? I think she'd just be happy if she knew that they'd heard that.
Yep. I think so. A little acknowledgement of that. That was good, Catherine. Well done. Thank you for pursuing that, and thank you to the Reverend Richard Coles. I like him. He's good, isn't he? Have we got any texts as the show kind of... It's been an odd show today.
It's been a bit of everything.
I like it.
OK, let's have a look. See what
I like it when it's like this.
Would using Google Maps help Amanda search for the location, says Asif. I don't know. I think maybe actually walking there in that area would help more.
Little walk around. That's when you kind of...
I mean, I can't remember places I went to 17 years ago.
No.
So, yeah, there's that. And there's also a little bit on Stop and Search. Dave says, here's a tip. If you're stopped by the police for any reason, don't F and Jeff, don't spit, don't shout at him or her. They're doing a job, and on the whole, they're good at it. If you don't want to be stopped, try not to look like a pimp from the Bronx.
Well, yeah, or try not to look like a black man. You know, and if that's what it is, and I gave that guest a tough time earlier on because I thought his argument was pathetic. There is a good argument as to why, young black men feel slighted and put upon, and they feel that it's a racist thing.
And the police themselves, when we've interviewed in the past, have admitted that there are disproportionately more black and Asian men stopped than anyone else. So,
PJ on Twitter says, "What great people helping her out." That's an amazing story, isn't it? That's an amazing story. Well, I got a feeling about this.
I think we're going to get somewhere.
I got a feeling about this. There's like a little vibe bubbling.
I don't think that couple are going to be there anymore in that Maisonette flat.
No.
But someone who knows them may recognise the description, because it sounds like they were pretty amazing.
And it's the kind of thing you would... Someone would have said it to someone, hey, you've got some young girl living with us. What's that about? Just helping her out.
Or, this girl, we wonder what happened to her. I bet they do wonder what happened to her.
Right, that's it. That's your lot. We will pursue that and let you know where we get with that. Amanda, thank you for that absolutely brilliant story and told superbly. Well done. Podcast will be up later on today. You can get it by going to the BBC Three Counties website. or it'll be on iTunes probably later tonight or maybe tomorrow. It takes a while to filter through. Right, let's get the travel.
Every week.
Oh, no, hang on a second. This is the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M11 northbound, there are still long delays for 3 miles approaching Junction 8 for Stansted Airport after some lorries and vehicles crashed in the snow this morning at Junction 8 for Stansted Airport. So you can still get in using the roundabout though, but there is just looking like there's very slow, long delays. Also on the A120 westbound, it's very busy between Thremel Avenue and the M11 Junction 8. On the A1M southbound, that's looking very slow between Junction 9 for Letchworth and 7 for Stevenage. And the A6 is still partially blocked in both directions at Sharnbrook, so that's causing delays for people travelling between Rushden and Bedford. On the trains, the Metropolitan line has minor delays between Watford and Harrow on the Hill because of a signal failure. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Hey, listen, thank you to Harvey and Colin and Manisa and Mrs. Fry, who all came in for the open door policy. Thank you, Matt, for this week, and Kelly and Catherine. Back on Monday at 6. Till then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Friday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's big phone-in, is it time we banned the slaughter of animals that haven't been stunned? The number of animals in the UK being killed in